TakingVegas.com every Saturday and Sunday morning at 7 a.m. right here on AM 560 Sports, WQAM. And for a free pick on a recorded message, just call 888-994-6669.
Tobin and Leroy.
Leroy Ford was one of the baddest men.
Dude, they call me the kangaroo.
Tobin and Leroy, ready to deploy. Had to hit it with a little journalism, but that's...
What the hell was that? Where's Low Dog?
What just happened?
What happened? That's not how we start our shows typically.
Seems like, I don't know. It seemed like, from what I heard, I think our intro song was stolen, dude.
What? What does that mean?
We got to find it.
Stolen?
That's what it sounded like. I don't know. I could be hearing things. Let's try this again. I need to hear this.
Tobin and Leroy.
Leroy Ford
We'll
was
just
one
go
of the
grab it. It's
baddest
right there.
men.
Dude, they call me the kangaroo.
I see it here.
Tobin and Leroy,
I'm looking at
ready
it.
to deploy.
I'm
Had to hit it
listening
with a
to
little
it.
journalism, but that's...
I don't understand. Is the song like in the front of a jewelry store and like
Wow,
somebody just
dude.
cracked it open?
Someone
I
has
blame Solana.
song, dude.
Man. All right.
He had something to do with it.
I think so.
I really don't understand what's
Just
going on.
just look for the Latino running away with a limp.
I thought I saw something weird.
Oh,
man.
man. All right. Well,
Look, if anyone has any word
check
on
that
it,
down.
please text us 305-567-0560.
Is this a bit? I really want to know what's going on.
I don't know
She's
what
very
happened to our
You're
confused.
song.
stressing me out.
Okay, look, someone messed with our file. I don't know what's
Wow.
going on. Apparently,
That's
our
very
intro's stolen.
disrespectful.
That is.
That is.
That's
Don't
very
touch what's not
disrespectful.
yours.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to some headlines here brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Supercenter. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford, as Leroy looks for his toys.
We no trucks.
Oh, man. The Heat back in action tonight against the Detroit Pistons. 7 o'clock as Heat have 4 games left. Bam Adebayo said yesterday he is going to try and play, even though he's not 100%. Kyle Lowry's questionable. Pre-Heat starts at 5:45 with Alejandro Solana.
You
Sounds
guys
good.
make fun of me for fat shaming.
Hmm?
Last night, Exhibit A.
Oh, all right, dude. But listen, that's not very nice, but not wrong.
Listen, you understand that one of the reasons why when I look at athletes that way, I think of it like this. Has he been that way his whole career? If so, then, you know, he can play that way because he's played that way the whole year, his whole career. But if he started,
can you just like you're playing in mystery playpen right now? Like, let people know what you're referring to, because Leroy, you do this thing. People don't see our text, dude. They don't know what the hell you're talking about when you bring things up that you think the entire audience should know.
No, but we were out at camp, and
With 100 players?
No, there's 2 players, Cueto and Chunky 52. Right? I merely asked the question because if you are, for example, in football, if you are a wide receiver and then you come in next camp and you built like a tight end, what happened in the offseason? Did you put in the work? Did you work to stay fit? So when I make these comments, it's for those reasons. And what happens when guys are out of shape and they go and try to perform at the highest level? They pull things. They strain things.
Yeah.
They stress things. So it brings me back to my point. Cueto, Chunky 52, they look just, I'll use the nice version of it. Is he in shape?
He's old. No, he's always been in that shape.
Okay.
But he was opening up a sub shop yesterday, delivering meatballs.
No, and he had the La Spada's meatball sub with extra meatballs.
It was something. We're gonna talk to Gaby Sanchez here soon and get into a little Marlins, as the Marlins are off to a 1-4 start. They lost 11-1 yesterday. Johnny Cueto gave up 2 home runs and then he was hurt. So
What was the score?
11-1.
11-1.
Yep.
11-1.
And to me,
That's not good.
I'm not even concerned with that. I'm concerned more with the 1 than the 11 because this team is doing the same things they did last year, not score.
Yeah, it's frustrating. They're top 10 in hits, but they are dead last in runs. Very annoying.
That's crazy.
That's very annoying.
So they just getting a bunch of singles.
Ton of double plays over the weekend, but
Yep.
yeah, like they had a dozen.
They're putting the ball in play, and it's worse.
They had a dozen hits yesterday, and
one run.
I mean, the damage was done yesterday early, but still.
But that seems to be the thing. They're getting, a bunch of hit. They're putting the ball in play and getting double plays.
Yeah. I mean, they did hit some home runs over the weekend, but it was it's been frustrating.
That's a step in the right direction.
What?
We're hitting the ball.
They are hitting the ball. They're just not driving anybody in. And
they're hitting it right to people.
And the pitching has gotten off to rocky starts with control issues.
It'll balance out.
We'll talk all over with
Yeah,
Gaby.
I think the pitching part of it is like sometimes it just seems like some guys get off to a slow start where they're trying to either work on what they did in the off season or trying to pick corners because they think they got more control, and then you end up getting behind in the count and stuff like that. I think that part of it will catch up because we've seen it. We've seen this team have excellent pitching. The other side is what bothers me because we haven't seen it in a few years.
Talk it over with Gaby Sanchez in a few minutes here. The Panthers, they take on the Sabres tonight. Big game, 7:00 puck drop. So good luck to the Cats tonight.
Got early bird specials on both.
And the national championship last night. I didn't watch a second of it. UConn beat San Diego State.
It was. I watched some of it.
Trader.
And the part of it that I watched, the writing was on the wall.
Yeah.
I could depart that and go watch some other stuff.
We'll take a quick break here. Valley Sports, Florida Marlins analyst Gaby Sanchez. He will join us next.
Gaby
It's April. It's Dave and Buster's month. It's continuing on, man. And we've got your chance to win a $250 gift card from Dave and Buster's to watch the NBA and NHL playoffs and more. Go to WQM.com and enter on the contest page. If you win, you can go to Dave and Buster's with your gift card and have a party all on us, Dave and Buster's. Eat, drink, play, watch sports at Dave and Buster's in Hollywood. You can go there and you can watch the Sandman tonight on the bump if you're not going to the ballpark, as the Marlins will continue their series. They got the Goosies yesterday with Pablo Lopez making his return. And, Twins are off to an undefeated start. Luis Arias is hitting the hell out of the baseball, so there is that. Well, let's talk a little Marlins with Valley Sports Florida Marlins analyst, former Marlins all-star, Gaby Sanchez, joining us here on the Toyota of Hollywood guest line. Shop with 1,500 Toyotas indoors and one of America's largest showrooms at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. Good morning, Gaby. Thanks for the time, man. Really appreciate it.
Good morning. Yeah, thanks for having me. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Hey, before we get into some Marlins, as a former Cane yourself, how much did you enjoy the Final Four run?
It was probably the first time that I actually watched the college basketball. Like, I've seen a couple games, but it was the first time that I actually sat down on the TV, told the wife, like, hey, listen, we got to get home so we could watch this. So it was a lot of fun. It was a nice run by those fellas.
I'm sure that had to so that was like you hopping on the bandwagon, like your first time, do you get rabid with the football, or is just like this was just or are you always kind of just on the outside as far as being just a passionate fan is concerned?
I mean, with the basketball, absolutely 100% bandwagon jumping on. I mean, it's my school, so I always root for them. But
you can't get accused. You can't get accused of jumping on the bandwagon if you went to that school.
Oh, perfect.
You can't. No chance.
I follow it. I look at it, but to actually sit down and watch a game, really haven't done it. Football, I do. And football, about 5 games in, then all of a sudden you're like, are you kidding me? This again? Come on, man. So definitely been there.
Gaby, I would love this team to get off to a fast start. I did like a lot of the changes they made. I got the Goosies this weekend with the teal uniforms. I love that. The win opening day was fun. It was a great atmosphere. But here we sit, 1-4. Things feel like they're already unraveling. But it's a long-ass season, man. You've been through this. When it's this early in the season, how much are you feeling it in the locker room? Are you just saying, like, look, we got plenty of time to get things right? What is the mindset of the players at this point? Only 5 games into the season, but it really just hasn't gone their way.
It's one of those tough things because when you look at the team, what they needed to do from last year, right? Hey, we need to get on base. We need guys to get hits. So you go out, you trade Pablo Lopez, you get Luis Arias, and that's what he has been doing. I mean, he's been doing nothing but just hitting and getting on base. And then you look at yesterday's game, they out-hit the Twins. But you're right in your earlier, they just have not gotten that big hit to get those guys across. And it can take just one guy to get that one big hit to just kind of take the monkey off of the guy's back of that pressure of trying to be the guy to get that big hit. Once I think they do it, you kind of put guys at a little bit more ease and relax, and then the guys will start scoring some runs. But they're at least getting on base. There's chances for the team to score runs, just haven't done it. I looked at something yesterday. It was like power rankings, like official power rankings. Mets are number 1 in that power ranking. The Twins were number 3. So you're playing against 2 of the top 3 teams in baseball right now, the way that they've been swinging the bat and the way that they've been playing. So right now they're just kind of running into some juggernauts early on.
Well, Gaby, isn't this like – it's kind of like bad luck because last year we complained about everybody striking out, nobody putting the ball in play, everybody, just swinging for home runs. And this year you have guys who are making contact, who are hitting the ball, putting the ball in play, but they're hitting it right to people and getting double plays. It's just bad luck, or eventually those hits will start going through the infield.
Well, one of the things is you definitely want the guys to be putting the ball in play rather than just striking out. You'll take your chances. At some point, those balls are going to find holes. They're not going to just consistently be going at guys. So that is one thing that you definitely do like. For me, it's when guys are in scoring position, guys on third with less than 2, those are the ones that you can't strike out. So it's like picking and choosing the times of when it's okay to strike out and when it's okay to kind of you know what, just don't put the ball in play. And then there's times where like, hey, listen, there's man on third or second and third with no outs or one out. Let's just get one. Don't try to get the big hit. Just get one across. And I think that's kind of where they're at this point, where when you have guys in that scoring position, they're trying to get the big hit rather than just getting what the defense is giving you. Put the ball in play, get that run across.
Talking to Gaby Sanchez. You guys can watch his coverage on Bally Sports Florida. Doing a great job covering the Marlins. Gaby, one of the big moves going into this year, Jazz Chisholm volunteered to move on over to center field. Looked like a bit of an adventure so far, which I guess is understandable. What have you thought about Jazz's transition to the outfield, and like how long before you feel like he'll be comfortable out there?
It's going to take some time, but he does have a guy in John Jay, who, in my opinion, was one of the better center fielders that I've seen in route running, being able to get that first step. Jazz athletically can play anywhere on the field. Everybody knows that. Center field is not an easy position. It's not something that you can just go into spring training and say, I'm here, I'm going to do it. I can be the best center fielder in baseball. Mentally, that's kind of what the thought process is. Oh, I can do it. But there's a lot of intricacies that come into center field play. When to go after a ball, how to judge your route angles. Those are going to take time, and that's going to be game play. So there's going to be some early hiccups that you're going to see, but hopefully with time and having a guy like John Jay on your side, looking at video, hey, on this ball, instead of doing this, maybe doing this and not making the same mistake twice. I think it will happen, but it's going to take some time.
Is it a situation where Jazz is so athletic that he sometimes thinks he can get to every ball and goes after it, and he needs to know when he can and when he can't? Because I see him not taking like bad angles, but taking angles that he think he can get to the ball, and then he short hops himself and it rolls to the fence or to the wall.
It really is that double-edged sword, right? Where he is fast enough, he is athletic enough to be able to know that he can make every play. And that's the thing. He knows that, I can get there. The problem is that he hasn't had enough reps in the outfield yet to really understand, hey, you know what? If I would have just taken a step, back rather than kind of go straight at it, I probably would have given myself a better chance to make that play. Those are the things that the only way that you can learn is by doing. So he'll make mistakes early on because of the speed. He's going to make up and catch balls because of the speed. He can drop step on balls that he needs to come in on, and it's not going to really worry because his speed will end up catching up for him and he'll be fine. It's the line drives that you can see where he's having trouble with, of judging where that ball is going to be. And, hey, am I fast enough to be able to get there? Or should I have just taken an extra step, get it on a long hop, get the ball in rather than trying to dive and make a play and the ball gets to the defense?
How much of this is understanding the situation in the game too? Hey, I can give up a single here, but I can't let this ball go to the wall. So I need to play a little more reserved because we're still in this, and giving up a hit is not going to kill us.
That's the hard part, I think, for Jazz, because he is a guy that wants to make every play. Right. He wants to make those highlight plays. He wants to make those diving plays. So whenever he can, he's going to try to make it. And you're right. It's getting in those situations where you're in center field knowing, okay, hey, listen, there's a guy on first. We're up 2-1. If this line drive gets hit in this situation, instead of me trying to dive and catch it, if that ball gets to the back, now that runner scores, the other one gets into scoring position. Let me back off a little bit, maybe get that ball into second, keep runners on first and third. Defense still has a chance for a double play to get out of it. And I think those are kind of the things that he will learn. He knows them, but physically he knows that he could probably get the ball, so he wants to. He wants to make that, fantastic play. And I think that's where kind of you have to pull the reins a little bit. And I think John Jay definitely has talked to him. And, hey, certain situations it's okay to maybe do that. And then on some, you got to just reel it back a little bit and just get the ball in.
Talking to Gaby Sanchez again. You guys can watch him on Bally Sports Florida, one of your Marlins analysts. They do a fantastic job. Marlins and Twins continue their series night. Sandy Alcantara is on the hill. You're a very good hitter, Gaby Sanchez. You watch Sandy Alcantara. What makes him special? Like, what would you have hated going against with stepping in the box against a guy like Sandy?
Well, later on in my career, I was glad that, I was more of a platoon guy with lefties only, because I wouldn't have had to face him, because that guy's nasty. There's not much you can say when a guy's on the mound throwing 97 to 100-mile-an-hour sinkers in on the hands, and then is able to throw a changeup at 92, 93 that moves about 1.5 feet, and then he's got a slider that moves the other way. He's just really impressive, and he's just getting better. And that's the thing that people don't realize. He's still young. He's still learning how to pitch. Even though he was a Cy Young winner last year, he's still realizing how to strike guys out now, more than just letting balls get put in play. Because he's a guy that goes up there and he's going to get soft contact because of his stuff. And now he's starting to realize, okay, well, if I have these kind of sequences and I'm able to move the ball around, with certain guys, or maybe a fastball up in the zone to follow it up with the changeup down and in, and then I go with the slider down and away, back to a fastball up. Those are the intricacies that he's starting to learn now, and it's just making him even better. But what he has is it's firepower coming out of that right arm. It really is. He's nasty.
Yeah, we talk about, Jazz and having to learn, how to play the position or just be more consistent at it with his angles and stuff like that. I watched a few games this week, and it seems like pitchers are trying to find out how much of the plate they can get. And it kind of happened with Sandy early in the game last week, is that he was getting a lot of balls close to the plate, but he wasn't getting those calls and ended up behind a lot of hitters. Does that happen also with pitchers early in the season?
Yeah, it's early, and you have those jitters of, starting off. It's the first start of the year. With pitchers, just like hitters, you try to do a little bit, maybe too much. You have all these expectations going in. So you're not as crisp. You're not really, throwing the way that he knows he can throw, because he's a guy that just fills up the zone. And he goes out there and it's a whole bunch of strikes. Good luck trying to hit this sinker that's coming in on your hands. You're going to have to cheat to get to it. When I see you cheating, I'm going to go this. That's kind of like what he does. He gets ahead early. He's able to expand off the zone later in the AB. But if you start off the zone, then all of a sudden guys are just sitting up there and they're big league hitters. You know if fastball's coming, I'm going to cheat to it. I don't care if you're throwing 97. I can get my hands in there.
They got Pablo Lopez they're going to be facing tomorrow. When you went up against a former teammate, was that weird? Is it advantage, disadvantage? Like who gets usually the play there? What was that like when you would go up against a guy who was very good? You were teammates with him for a while.
I mean, you have to think that pitchers are going to always have the advantage because hitting is so hard. You go 3 for 10 and you're a Hall of Famer. And he's getting 3 hits and 10 at bats. So you would have to give the edge to a pitcher who kind of knows the guys, knows what they're looking for, understands probably what their deficiencies are as a hitter and how to set guys up. But it's fun when you're going up against your old team, and especially if you're able to put it on them. What's really going to be fun is that you got Luzardo going up against Pablo Lopez. So the number 2 starter this year for the Marlins going up against the number 2 starter for the Marlins last year, like mano to mano. That should be a really fun game to watch and be a part of, because those two guys are going out there to prove something. Luzardo started off his season looking really good. Pablo, the same thing. So it's going to be a fun series.
You remember, who was the guy that came to mind when you thought about former teammate you put it on? There had to be one that, I saw a little twinkle in the eye there. Was there a little head nod when you're rounding the bases and you got a Jimmy Jack on him?
You know what? Didn't hit a home run against you know what? That's not true. Logan Kinsing was a teammate of mine in 2008 when I first got called up, and my first home run in the big leagues was against him. So that one was kind of fun. that one was fun just because he was a cool guy, talking with him when I first got called up. So that one definitely is a little mark. But when I got traded over to the Pirates and I was playing against the Marlins, I didn't hit home runs against them. Did get some hits. But it's just you're going up there, you know the guys, you've played against them, you know what they want to do against you, and you're just kind of like trying to get them out of their own game. And it's that little chess match that's, I think, makes it even more fun than anything else.
For a guy who said, hold on, let me think, you spit out those stories quite accurately.
We appreciate the time, Gabby. Catch Gabby's coverage on Valley Sports Florida. Marlins taking on the Twins. They continue their series tonight, 6:40, Sandman on the Hill. Check that on out. Thanks for the time, Gabby. Really appreciate it.
Thank
you guys for having me.
There you go. Gaby Sanchez joining the show. We appreciate him. We'll take a quick break, swing on over to the Heat as they have a very important week coming up. They are taking on the Detroit Pistons tonight. We'll get into that. 15 minutes of Heat is next.
The season
Bum, bum. 15 minutes heated for you on 560 WQAM. Thanks again to Gaby Sanchez for stopping by.
I like Gabby.
I like Gaby too. Good dude.
Yep.
Forearm, best clothesline ever. I was trying to explain. I was explaining to Len during the break. I was like, he goes, "Oh, Gaby was great." And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, and I was trying to explain to him the clothesline on Niger Morgan. I said, honestly, it's one of the great baseball brawl moments of all time.
Yep.
Given the clothesline protest, saving Chris Volstad's life, or at least Chris Volstad from an ass kicking.
That was violent. The bullpen didn't have a chance to get in. That thing had escalated quickly.
But normally these baseball fights, no contact, a lot of staring. Nope. Gabby's about that action. You always got to watch out. He's about that action. Leroy, can you get a weather update from the Desmond and Dover Law Firm? You're actually
1 second.
Free consultations 24/7. Call them up at 866-954-MORE.
Use my TV voice?
Yes.
Yeah, well, today we have pleasant conditions, partly cloudy skies. Winds are out of the. I don't see nothing. I'm gonna say out of the east because that's where they've been at about 10 to 15 miles an hour, and it's currently 81 degrees.
How do you do, Marcos?
Winds out of the east southeast, 13 miles per hour, just like he said. Partly cloudy, just like he said, and they have it at 86. But I'm gonna go with Leroy.
86 at 10 in the morning.
In April. It's soupy out, dude.
No,
it is hot.
It has been really
hot. Buckle up.
It is
South
big.
Florida,
folks.
Woof. He's a golfer, though, ladies and gentlemen. He's a golfer. He knows.
Hey.
He knows. He knows what's what.
We'll talk about rain chances tomorrow as we get closer to the weekend.
The Heat taking on the Pistons tonight. I don't like it. They're sitting a lot of people, the Pistons. They're in tank mode. There's nothing that scares me more. I would rather the Heat. I'd rather the Heat be taking on the bad boys than take on a tanking Pistons team. I'm petrified.
This is what torture is if you're a sports fan. The Miami Heat this year. For the reasons that you're terrified and have been that way all year. Why we always talk about a couple of things. Everybody gets afraid when they have 4 starters out.
Yep.
Because whoever comes in the game mysteriously makes 8 threes or something like that. Not to mention, we've been talking all year about the Heat getting everybody healthy, and they've actually played better when there was only 8 men playing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how to look at this team, but just say they can beat anybody and they can lose to anybody on any given night, and it doesn't matter who's playing.
Pretty wild. It's pretty wild. There was this great so I got mad at Spo recently because I was like, I just wanted to yell. I just wanted to be mad at people because he's sitting there and he's like, our answers are all there. We believe we believe we can beat anybody at any time. Like, why won't you just say you guys stink right now? Why won't he do that?
he's embracing the
Why
struggle.
do you want him to do that?
I just would love it. I feel like, first of all, he'd be an A+ ranter. I've seen what he does to the league office. I've seen what he does when a call really gets him irked. I feel like he eviscerates them and they wet their pants. They're so scared of him. They don't do anything.
Wait, but what he's done it. He just does it in his Spo way. How about when he called timeout 2 minutes into the game? No!
That was great. But he never does it to the microphones.
But here's why. Because think of how they've been over the years. I think he's one of those coaches that puts the impetus on the players to do certain things as far as getting everybody in line with how they're going to play.
It was Barry Jackson wrote a great article, talked to a lot of Heat players about how Spo's behaved this year. And Barry writes, There have been moments of intense anger from Spoelstra, including throwing his clipboard down during a timeout after Omer Yurtseven made multiple defensive errors in a recent game.
Well,
if you want to know why Big Yurt isn't getting run.
Well, we've seen that before with Hassan.
Mm-hmm.
So it happens, but that's the nature of it, right? There's a fine line between teaching a guy what to do and getting on him for not doing it, right? But I think he does it his way. Like you can't question how Spo does things. Those are all-time winningest coach in Miami Heat history. You can't, he's been doing it right.
He's top 15.
Right.
All the time.
Why we listen, everybody has their own way. Let's just say Spo will not be hoarse when his career is over.
No, he's got the same the entire time.
Which like we appreciate that, but now you're criticizing him.
No,
because he used to yell so much he used to sweat through his jacket.
It has to be.
How'd that work out?
I think it's just because I know it has to be burning him up inside, and I'd really I feel like for his health, I feel like it would be great to just let it out.
If he's not that way, it's not gonna come across the right way if he all of a sudden does it.
No, I feel like if anything, that's gonna mean more.
No, let me explain something to you. I heard Denny yell one time. One time. We were at practice. Practice was going crazy. He was on the side just watching, because what he does is instead of going to you, he'd go to your coach, and then your coach would come to you, right? Because he empowered all the coaches to have a grasp of these things. One day practice was going terrible. Like it was just, we wasn't picking up the blitz drill. We wasn't doing this. We get about 30 minutes into practice. Tweet! You gotta be bleeping me. We like, who's that? That's Denny. Oh no. Run it back. Start it over.
Damn.
Right. But that's the only, dude, that is the only time I've heard him get that way. But I guess he felt that he had to. He felt that the coaches weren't getting the point across, so he had to come over top. Spo doesn't seem like that guy.
Yeah,
and he's never been that guy. So to all of a sudden expecting to be that now, you're being unfair to the situation.
Barry wrote in the Herald, he says, whereas Heat President Pat Riley sometimes ranted or threatened lineup changes during post-game news conferences when he was the Heat coach, if the team wasn't playing well, Spoelstra hasn't done that a single time all season, remaining generally positive even after losses. Quote, that has nothing to do with winning, Spoelstra said. To me, a press conference and a coach ranting doesn't necessarily do anything for a win. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. That's not my style, for better or worse. We handle our business here.
But again, if what he's done and how he's done it has worked, and it has, then I have no problem with him being who he is.
One time, cut loose, dude.
No, that's you. Like you
cut
no.
loose. Let it fly, baby.
What is it gonna accomplish?
Oh, make me feel better.
Right.
But
You
it's
think
not
it's gonna
gonna
get
make him feel better.
I think it would. I think it would. I think it would make him feel better.
Dude, if you get here, and here's a fact about just life in general. If you see somebody outside of their comfort zone, you tend not to take them at their word. If a person is consistent with who they are, how they do things, how they talk about things or whatever, you tend to be more in line or listen a little bit more. Spo can't all of a sudden change who he's been for the last 15 years.
I want more of this, but towards the players sometimes. This is what I want.
It was a kind of a bizarre deal, you know. There was like half a dozen instances we had, you know, with that official. It's neither here nor there. I'm not going to get a fine, and league, you're not going to even think about giving me a fine. But it started off with, that blocking foul where Jimmy took one to the face. Then Cody took another one to the face and broke his nose. And then, our debate about those things seemed to carry over, with the official, and then it became a matching of egos, I guess. But he got the last laugh on that one. The official did.
So
amazing.
But even his demeanor doesn't change, right? Even though he may be saying he probably does that with the players.
He double finger gunned the camera.
Okay, but he makes. I mean, what was more aggressive?
I would like him to go.
What was more aggressive, that or the 2-minute timeout where he yells, "No!" Right?
They were both intense.
No, not dude. When he looks at a bunch of grown men
And
call a timeout,
this is what I want from Eric
2 minutes
Spoelstra.
into a game.
This is what I want from Eric Spoelstra. Duncan, you're not getting playing time. And Big Yurt, you're not even going to think about getting playing time. That's
so
my
what?
I don't know.
Do you understand the point of coaching is to get the most out of your players? So you just go and tell a player that means you're not doing your job.
What's the difference? They're not playing anyway.
But if they can help you win, isn't the job to get them prepared to go onto the court?
I don't know. There's been
it is.
There's been a lot of successful yellers in the history of coaching.
Yeah.
There have been. Shula, Saban.
Football, dude.
Yeah,
Football.
Riley was not.
Hold on. Let me explain something to you. Of all the sports, football is the most negative reinforced sport there is.
What about pop? Pop.
No matter what, no matter how great a football team plays, what is the first thing a coach says? Well, we had some good moments. We got to clean some stuff up. I hate the fact that we had too many people. He always starts a press conference negatively. Go watch an NFL coach.
Well, not Mike McDaniel, though. That's not Mike McDaniel's way.
Okay.
At least according
you
to
got
him.
an outlier. You know what the hell I'm saying, though.
But it seems to resonate. I will say, today's generation, all those young kids want to go talk to him at the combines and the pro days because they think he's a bit of a rock star. He's different.
Right.
They all say he's different.
Right.
That's not Mike McDaniel's way.
Exactly, dude.
But if Mike McDaniel all of a sudden start yelling or started, the negative reinforcement thing, you wouldn't take him serious because it's outside of who he is.
No,
you have to be who you are. That's why players respect you, because you're consistent with who you are and how you do things. If that changes, it becomes more difficult for a player to know where the hell you coming from. So for you to ask Spo, why doesn't he yell at the players? He's never done that. But he makes his point.
He does make his point.
Okay.
But I'd like him to publicly make his point to make me feel better sometimes.
To make you feel better.
Yeah.
So what if that has a negative effect on the team?
It won't.
Do you care?
I don't think it will.
Wait. How can you dismiss that and say it won't?
I just don't think it will.
I'm telling you, it will. If a coach becomes different than what he's been for all these years, then it's going to take players off guard. It will. It might have a negative effect.
Good. Keep them on their toes.
Oh, my goodness. Dude, I would say if I owned the team, coach the team, I mean, even Pee-wee, I would keep you as far away as possible.
Why?
Because for some reason, your thinking of how people should coach is not even real.
Nah, dude, I have that thing that you talked about. What's that couth? I have that.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I got that,
no,
dude.
You don't.
I do.
You think you could go in and just yell and degrade a bunch of grown-ass men. And that's going to be more productive than what a 15-year, 700-win NBA coach does.
Does have a lot of wins.
I would say I trust Spo to handle that situation more than I trust. You got to get hot on them. You.
Stoll McRib says Toe would be the most wishy-washy coach.
I agree.
Just imagine him.
I agree. I can picture here. I can picture somebody hitting the game-winning shot and Tobin coming in the locker room going, "Goosies, that ain't coaching."
Now, look, I'm not Leroy, but my most memorable moment as a coach, really like yelling at me and Pee-wee, was like, "If you guys don't want to be here, you can go watch Moesha." And me thinking, like, man, I would really love to go watch Moesha. I really did. It's a good show, dude. Brandy's a good actress.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a certain way that even if a coach is yelling, he has to deliver that message. Because if you lose the player, then you actually get worse in production. Something you really don't understand. So you're telling me that Spo should go yell at Jimmy?
No, I mean, Jimmy's been fantastic this year.
Oh, see, you can't do it that way, though.
Oh, you got to go like pick on the biggest bully?
You got to go big picture, because the defensive stuff that they're all talking about is not one guy. It's everybody. So from that standpoint, like, you want him to single guys out and
I mean,
whatever.
technically he did. Hold on, but technically he did do that publicly with Jimmy. Him and Jimmy got into a fight on the bench last year. Seemed to work out. What do you say to that?
Oh my goodness, you're
Boxed
a
in.
buffoon.
Boxed
No,
in.
I'm not boxed in.
Nah,
I'm
dude,
not
they did.
boxed in.
If anything, it was a.
You know what? They yelled. They got into it. Jimmy went on being Jimmy. Spo went on being Spo. That's just like, there's certain guys, like, coaches would yell at me and I would just like laugh at them. Like, okay.
Yeah, just like me and my art teachers.
Yeah,
and my
but no.
music teachers.
But that's the thing, though.
They
Like,
would yell?
this again goes to my. But this again goes to my point. Like, don't forget how much we were all in shock of seeing that. We have never seen him that angry at a player in front of us. It meant something. I don't think you pull the card once a year. Once a year, Spo should have a freak out card. I'm glad we're on the same page.
No,
I can't.
No.
I can't explain to you in words that you will understand that don't involve cussing of how ridiculous what you're saying is.
I don't know, dude.
It's ridiculous.
All right.
Like, who you think?
I mean, you are. Listen.
Here's what you have to understand. You're gonna go to a grown man who makes 5-10 times more than you and yell at him like a child, and that's gonna go well.
Once a year,
and that's gonna go well. You think that's gonna go well?
Depends.
Because, some people have the personality, if you yell at them, they shut down. So what do you say about that?
I'd say butch up, buttercup.
But you need them to win.
Wow.
You can't keep doing that with players. You need them to perform.
Oh, me. Oh, what are you doing, Duncan? You wiping your tears with your hundies? Oh, boo.
Why we on dunks?
I don't know. Just figured that's who you're referring to.
No.
Oh.
I'm not referring to anybody. Oh my goodness, dude. There's certain times during the year where he wouldn't make it that long because he would try to go in there with some emotional Rudy speech and they would laugh. They would laugh him out after 2 days.
It's true. Leroy yell at Tobin all the time, and look
How
at him.
does he come back?
That's different though. I ain't coaching him.
No, but he just somehow gets worse.
I don't like what
he does things to piss
you know
him
what
off.
you do here. Can I just say this, folks? On Twitch, on YouTube, here's a perfect example of somebody that watched too many football movies, too many sports movies, right? Because you want to go in there with a script, with an emotional, heartfelt speech, and that ain't real, dude. That is not real.
I don't know.
It's not.
We'll take a break. Back
You
after this.
think that Rudy crap wouldn't fly today?
Hey. It's time for our Tua.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua. It's our Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Tonga Vailoa. Not
Tua Tagovailoa.
A for effort. Dolphins quarterback.
Tua.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua.
Tua.
Tua, Tua, Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Chris Sims can go to hell. Tua Tagovailoa. Dolphins quarterback.
Daddy loves you guys.
Our Tua with Tobin and Leroy.
Check the history of food.
Now, to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Tobin and Leroy here with you on 560 WQAM. Taking it up until 2 o'clock. We're streaming live on the Odyssey app. You guys spell it AUDACY. Download that in your app store. Go to WQAM.com. You can stream us there in your ears. You want to watch our ugly mugs? You guys can go to Miami 560 WQAM on Twitch or YouTube. Go subscribe anytime we go live. You guys can join the chat. Shout out to everybody who is joining us there. D Sizzle, he says, has Tobin admitted the Marlins suck? I mean, it's not off to a great start, dude, but you know.
1 week into the season, relax.
1 week, yeah. You know, Sandman's on the hill today. Get things right, you know? That's what we need.
Nice.
I think
that's what we need.
Listen, I've learned a valuable lesson on this break. There's certain professions you just can't count on them.
Pool guy.
Oh my God. Like, so I made this appointment last week.
Yep.
And guess what time they gave me?
You told me it was during the show. I forget the hours.
8 to 4. So I'm like, am I ever going to make an appointment where I'm the 8 guy?
Right.
And not just the guy that you get to when
because if it's 8 to 4, like if 8 to 4 is like, okay, you're either the first appointment of the day or the last.
Right. But
like,
here's the
what is the pick? Is it like, do you have a randomizer? What is this?
No!
What is this? A fantasy?
I don't know. But then they try to get like a deposit some of these places. I'm like,
deposit?
Hell no!
But you deposit me an exact time.
It's like, so I call and they say, oh, that's just the way we do things. Really? I say, you're at work. We work too.
Yeah, that's wild. So are they coming? Who knows?
He'll get back to me.
Oh, good. Good for him. That's
All
nice.
right, yeah,
that's nice. That's an answer,
life.
kind of.
It's like, what? Like, oh my God.
What do you need, Dudley? Roy?
People get mad at me for being a Karen, but until all of us demand better customer service, this is the kind of treatment you're going to get. That's just the way it is.
Things will never be the same. That's just the way it is.
No, but here's what happens.
Oh,
People have a business.
-1.
What are you doing?
Please.
-1.
Show poniness.
People have a business. When it's going good, they think they can do whatever. When it's going bad, they want to hustle and do whatever they can. Right? So, whatever.
Let's get into some headlines brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
News on the Heat for tonight. Anthony Chang tweets out of the Miami Herald that Bam Adebayo has been upgraded to probable for tonight's game in Detroit. He had sat out the last game with a hip injury, said he couldn't even walk. So
that's a quick recovery then. Because y'all saw me when I couldn't walk on my knee.
Yeah. Kyle Lowry remains questionable. So that is your injury report. Jamal Cain, Orlando Robinson available for tonight's game.
Dave South is at it again. He said, Tobin being a coach is the equivalent to Kyle Lowry being a spokesperson for Slim Fast.
Hey, man.
He also said he had to pull a Leroy at a car dealership. You're now a verb, Leroy.
Yeah. Give it a verb for giving customer service the business.
Here, let me explain something to you knuckleheads.
Okay.
It is okay to demand what you pay for and nothing less.
Agreed.
Okay? When that becomes an issue, You should have a problem when some person at a business tells you he can do X, X, and X, and then gets to the point where he doesn't do it. You have every reason to have a problem with that person. So if that makes me a Karen, so be it. All of you could go to hell. But I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep holding people accountable for what they say they're going to do.
Meanwhile, Florida Panthers take on the Buffalo Sabres tonight at 7 o'clock. So we got dual action tonight.
We got dual action.
We got tri-action tonight.
Can I say this?
Panthers, Marlins tonight.
I think I'm going to list them in order of importance.
Okay.
Panthers, Heat, Marlins. And here's why. Because the Heat are just trying to avoid the play-in.
Right.
But they're in some capacity.
Which they're almost in anyway.
Right.
Like
right.
If they win, if they lose and Brooklyn wins, the Heat are in the play.
Right.
So that's that.
So there's that. The Panthers are not securely in the playoff spot yet.
There's no hockey playing.
Right. So from that standpoint, this is more stress for a fan at the end of the year than anything. And the Marlins are in the second start of Sandy. Like,
the Panthers don't have to win out, but they might have to win out.
Right. Like, it's important. I guess I'm listening to them as far as importance.
I agree with you. No, it's a huge one. And Buffalo's right behind them, by the way. Like,
right. So not only are you playing chase, but you're being chased.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I'd say Panthers are the most important tonight. Heat, and then Marlins, I mean, we got 150 more of these puppies.
Can I just say this? If the Pistons are trying to tank and he go out and lay an egg, that's going to hurt my soul.
Yeah.
Right? That's going to hurt my soul when a team is trying to lose by sitting everybody. Yep. And you go in there with the whole mindset of we need to win and throw up a dunk. Now, I will say this. These are the worst games from this standpoint. Somebody going to come off that bench and start chucking up threes.
Yeah. There's gonna be some
and if they make 5 or 6 or 7, you're like, what in the why?
Yeah, I'm Keith Doyle's going to come off the bench tonight and like intangibles us or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
I'm nervous. I'd rather take on Rip Hamilton, Sheed, Ben Wallace, and Chauncey.
Hey, at this point, me too. We can beat them now.
And then finally, UFC 287 days out. Jon Anik, voice of the UFC. He is going to join us in the 12 o'clock hour.
Hey, question.
Yep.
How we doing this?
What do you mean? How we doing this?
Want to go get a little something to eat beforehand? Whatever you want, babe. Because I know last time we went, we had to get the COVID test, and it was 4 million degrees.
But that wasn't for a UFC card. That was for Canelo.
It was 400 degrees, and we were out there sweating, just waiting in the COVID line.
Dade South says, interview shirts, ? No, Dade South. It's live.
Oh, my goodness.
He's
hey, and plus, we can only talk to him when it's not football season.
Yeah, he's a monster Boston sports fan. That's true. And listen, he's got to be happy because he gets to do a fight card in his backyard. He does not have to travel. He gets to stay home and then just drive down the turnpike in 95 to get to Miami Dade Arena, which I was watching in the lead up. I was watching Countdown, and they start off showing the card in Miami 20 years ago at American Airlines Arena. Leroy, the last time UFC was here, before Dwayne Wade was drafted.
So did we see at Florida Live? FLA Live.
We saw that that's in Broward. It hasn't been in Dade County in 20 years. It hasn't been.
Aren't you mincing words here?
Nope.
It's South Florida.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
All right.
I'm not.
Okay.
Once off in the Everglades. Okay. I know that's where you live. but it's not. It's
I
different.
don't live in the Everglades. What are you talking about?
FLA Live Arena is in the Everglades.
And then where do you live then?
Boonies.
Okay. Oh, that's not Everglades.
But I don't picture the UFC ever coming to I think Financial Amphitheater.
Oh, I'd be there though. I would be there.
There wasn't. I do think Renegades did have a local MMA card though.
What? Okay.
Remember we went to that the convention center in Palm Beach?
Dude, I was just there.
That was
my daughter's cheerleading competition.
Marcos.
We watched.
Is that guy smoking a cigarette and drinking a beer?
We watched Tyrone Spong win a boxing match there. He won in like a round. And but we saw some crazy matchups there. One of the wildest nights of boxing. I mean, we saw middleweights via welterweights. It was crazy.
Is that where the mom came in, or was that a different?
No, that was a different one. That's when we went to Titan FC at we went to Titan FC at Extreme Action Park.
Oh,
okay. The roller derby.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Dude, let me tell you.
Excellent.
When you bring family, because a lot of these fights, like these smaller cards, it's on the fighters to fill the arena.
Yep.
So they get on the card, they have to sell a certain amount of tickets. So that means it's all gonna be family and friends. And when little baby boy get knocked out, they family get upset.
Upset, dude.
Upset. And
I
they
remember
want
one
to
time-
fight.
Do you remember the one time we went to the Hard Rock? I think it was on Harold.
Yeah, it was a melee.
I think it was Harold Calderon's card, but it wasn't his fight. And there was a melee you're right. There was a melee in the bathroom, but then there was one point where somebody was upset with the decision, and I saw a purse get swung at somebody.
Yes, dude.
I was like, what is going on here?
Hey, I'm telling you. And then it was like, it ended up like it was on the side of the ring.
Yep.
And then it went into the hallway of the Hard Rock.
Yep.
Right.
One dude was laid out in the bathroom.
But dude, it was crazy. Like, yeah, man. Listen, it don't happen. Like when you go to like UFC, you got one side for these, for this fighter, one side for this fighter. It's back and forth. Everybody cheering their guy on. There's really no ruckus or anything like that.
Oh no.
But on the smaller cards, because everybody think they boo gonna win, and then he get a 2-piece and get knocked out. Oh my goodness.
So we'll talk to Jon Anik next hour. We'll take a quick break. Back with more to this.
The season is
560 WQAM. Take you up until 2 o'clock. Gonna play a little Damages Done later on this hour. Thanks again to Gaby Sanchez for joining the program earlier. Talked a little Marlins with the former Marlins All-Star, first baseman, former Hurricanes star. So appreciate Gaby for the time. Earlier on the show today, he was fun.
Yep. It's funny. You know what I love about athletes? I do the same thing. You'll get asked a question in an interview, and you don't really want to let people know that you that damn petty or you remember stuff like that. But then he just spit out 2 stories like he just lived them. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
He remembers.
Yeah. He remembers.
He remembers.
We all remember.
Determining whether I want to read this text or not.
From who?
From a texter, from a listener.
What's it about?
Leroy.
What did I do? Read it.
I'm not gonna read it.
Read it.
I don't want to say. I don't want to do it. I don't
read it.
Texter writes in. You guys can text at 305-567-0560. Text on the ticket driven by Kendall Toyota and West Kendall Toyota. Maybe Leroy gets bad customer service because he's a bad customer.
You just open up a can of worms.
And how usually you get the bad customer service before you realize what kind of customer you got. Right? So me going up to a counter at a store and waiting, okay, has nothing to do with my me as a customer. It has to do with your customer service.
That
right?
text brought to you by Publix.
No. Me setting up an appointment for a pool guy and he tells me 8 to 4.
That's not an appointment.
Right.
8 to 4 is not an
That's
appointment.
just I'll come over there at my leisure.
8 to 4 is a window, a very, very big window. It's more like a sliding glass door.
Let me ask you, am I a bad customer if I call and order food at a restaurant and show up at the time they tell me to show up and then I got to wait 30 minutes for my food? Is that a bad customer or bad customer service? Please stop. Stop. Like you, that's part of the problem. Part of the problem is you're trying so hard to call out me that you're not even identifying that this crap is happening to you too. That you just, oh, that's okay, tough break or whatever. The money don't change. If they make you wait another 40 minutes, do they say, you know what? Let me take 10% off of your bill or off of your product that you purchased because we have not given you good customer service. Do they ever say that? No. Absolutely not. So I hear what you're saying, but the bad customer service comes before you identify a person as a bad customer. See, if I was a bad customer, when I got bad service at a restaurant, I would leave a 0 tip. And I feel that I would be in my right, but I don't. So you want to talk about the difference between a bad customer and a bad customer service? Come see me.
You don't sound like these Dalvin Cook rumors don't seem to be going away. It's a little weird.
Dalvin Cook coming to,
yeah.
I mean,
doesn't seem to be going. Well, just trade rumors in general, but like there was stuff over the weekend about like the Dolphins inquired about him, but the Vikings wanted too much, and now there's rumors that like they're trying to do the thing where like, hey, he's extra healthy, shoulder all the way right. It feels like the Vikings. I feel like the Vikings are trying to put on a brave face with Dalvin Cook, but no one's going to give you a haul for Dalvin Cook. It is what it is. And so I feel like it's just interesting how this stuff doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Here's the deal. The Dolphins kicked the tires on it probably early on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
They kicked the tires on it. They realized that we're not giving that much money and then having to pay a guy. Right? So they re-sign their 2 guys and say, have a nice day. Simple as that. I think if they were serious about trade, first of all, everybody wants to think that they have the player that's worth a lot while not signing them themselves. That is a hard sell to me. If Dalvin Cook is so important to you, why aren't you re-signing him? Why? Because he hasn't been healthy. When he plays, he's great, but he misses a lot of games. That's why you're not re-signing him. So why would you think somebody else would re-sign him? Your best value is always going to usually be with the team you were with.
Yeah, I mean, he's still under contract. I don't think he really has like a need for a new deal right now, but obviously they're trying to save money. And it's not like this is the thing. Like there's some guys that are just natural hometown fits and that don't feel like they're going anywhere. That's why the Lamar Jackson stuff just never dies with the Dolphins. It feels like it's because he's from down here. Dalvin Cook is just a little bit more reasonable than giving a guy $200 million plus guaranteed.
And I would say this. If I'm gonna go and give Dalvin Cook, I say on average, say 7-8 million with 15 guaranteed, right? 4 years or whatever. Can you honestly tell me that he's that much better than the two guys you have and that he would be more productive in this offense than anybody else that you have?
Mike McDaniel was it like, listen to him about that stuff at the the owners meetings that he was last talking at, Marcos?
Yeah.
He he didn't put it a lot on the running backs. He likes his running backs.
Right.
But that's very, very much like he does Tua.
But that's my point. That in order for you to move off of what you have, it has to be substantially better. Okay, that you bring in another guy, pay him a boatload of money. It has to be substantially better than what you have. And, right, you also have to tell me that we were struggling at this position. They were not. They did not struggle at running back position. There's other needs that this team has. I think fans should be a little upset if instead of using two running backs who average 5 yards a carry, you decide to bring in another guy who hasn't played a full season in how long?
Let's see.
I kind of still want him. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I do too. It's kind of Goosey's.
Yeah, I mean,
hometown kid.
I do agree.
Why?
He hasn't been healthy.
Why?
Played a full season.
Nostalgia, dude.
He played 17 games last year.
He played 17 games last year?
Yeah, but he was doing it with a banged up shoulder, but they're saying his shoulder's better now.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Again. So you guys, and this is where, hold on. This is where I want to fight the both of you.
What does that sound?
Right?
That's the Goosey's rising.
Okay.
Because here's the problem, right?
Yeah.
You're not being reasonable.
I am being reasonable.
No, you're not. That's not reasonable.
I don't want to give away a lot for him, but it seems like I think the Dolphins.
You're gonna have to give him money though.
He's under contract. He has a contract.
You're not gonna trade him if you're not gonna redo his deal.
He has 3 more years on his contract.
All right. At what? How much?
10, 11, 12 or 10, 12, 13.
10, 12, 13.
Mm-hmm.
You just signed 2 running backs for a total of 5.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you,
Mm-hmm.
Is he $7, $8, $9 million more than those guys?
He is in Goosey's. Hometown kid, baby. He runs the rock. You know what they say about Dalvin Cook? David, you know what they say about Dalvin Cook?
Oh my god.
No, please tell me.
Marcos, you know what they say about Dalvin Cook?
I actually don't. I'm hoping you can tell me.
Oh, let's see if this caller. Hey, caller, what's your name? It's 560. You're on the air.
Hey, Tobin, this is your friend Chapo.
Hey, Chapo, let me ask you a question, dude.
What's going on?
You know what they say about Dalvin Cook?
What did they say about Dalvin Cook, Mr. Tobin?
Hold on 1 second. Hey,
What's going on?
Richie, RBA Richie, what's going on, man?
Good morning. What's going on?
Hey, let me ask you something. You know what they say about Dalvin Cook?
Man, a 3rd round pick, man. I'd really like to know.
All right, hold on.
What are they saying?
This is what they say, dude. Leroy, you sure you don't want to know?
Seems like everyone else is interested.
A lot of people are interested. Dalvin Cook, He runs the rock, dude.
Whoa!
He runs the rock. And that's a double entendre, dude, because he runs the rock like literally with the football, but he also runs Hard Rock Stadium. That's his house, dude.
Boom!
That is his house.
So
Man,
hold on.
He runs the rock, dude.
CEO.
Hold on.
Runs the rock.
Hold on.
GM.
Hold on.
Is there anything above that?
You are running a team with a salary cap. So
And
I'm
a
gonna
rock.
ask. So I'm gonna ask you this: Is Dalvin Cook $7 to $8 million better than the 2 running backs you have?
Listen,
go look at the numbers. Go look. Wait. Don't. No, I don't. I don't. Wait. I don't really need your opinion because we have the numbers. We have factual evidence of what those 2 guys did versus what Dalvin Cook did.
But
I'm just telling you, you have the numbers in front of you.
Look, Raheem Mostert, fast.
Ooh,
Jeff Wilson
blazing speed.
runs angry.
Wait. How many yards did they have last year?
Hold on.
12.
But let me tell you something about those guys. They don't run the rock, dude. They don't run the rock.
They don't run the rock.
I mean, literally, their job is running the rock. But I mean, in hard rock, they don't run hard rock.
Mm-hmm.
They don't run the rock.
It's got history.
Hometown ties, dude. Take a break. Back after this.
WQAM, broadcasting live from the Ed Moore Sawgrass Auto Mall Studios. Shop massive savings on a massive Chevy inventory, all backed by Morse at Ed Moore Sawgrass Chevrolet. Visit EdMooreSawgrassChevrolet.com. Chevy, find new roads.
Breaking news from AM 560 Sports WQAM is presented by BetQL. Smarter bets start with BetQL. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using code BETDAILY and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Again, that code BETDAILY. I'm so excited about this because if you're new to betting or you haven't downloaded the BetMGM app and signed up and made an account, this is an incredible offer that you should take advantage of because it's only for your first bet. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly and offer resources to help you make appropriate choices. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. First online real money wager only. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Promotional offer not available in Mississippi, Nevada, and New York.
Well, you could just float around on your grandpa's leaky balloon. Or you could take it to the next level with a Yamaha Wave Runner from Jet Ski of Miami. Because right now, buying a Yamaha Wave Runner has never been easier. Check this out. It's the end of season sales event. Quick and easy financing with APR as low as 5.99% for 36 months.
Manufacturer's suggested retail price does not include prep, freight, or tax.
Monthly APR rate on price based on Tier 1 qualifying APR. See dealer for details.
Se habla español.
Hi, this is Gabriel with Florida Cash Home Buyers. Are you looking to sell your home without the stress of a bunch of strangers walking through your home and having to make all kinds of repairs? If you want to sell your home fast and easy without a realtor and save thousands in commissions and closing costs, call me at 954-960-3333. We follow all social distancing guidelines and can make you a cash offer over the phone without having to visit your home. We'll do our absolute best to make your home selling experience as easy and enjoyable as possible. You can even get a $10,000 cash advance before the closing and stay in your home after the closing, so you don't need to worry about quickly moving out. Whether you have a damaged fixer-upper home or a beautiful home that doesn't need any repairs, we can buy it. If you want to sell your home fast and easy, call us today for a free offer. 954-960-3333. That's 954-960-3333. 954-960-3333.
Hear that? That's the sound of the 2023 Chevy Silverado's turbo high output engine, delivering impressive power with no compromised durability. Whether you're helping friends move or just moving some friends, this is the sound of a family with plenty of rear seat room to enjoy the ride. And this is the sound of you heading to your local Chevy dealer today. Find your Silverado and find new roads. Chevrolet. See your Miami Fort Lauderdale Chevy dealers.
A tasty adventure awaits at the 2023 Orange Bowl Food and Wine Celebration, presented by Florida Blue. Savor the flavors Friday, April 28th at the Broward County Convention Center. Enjoy dishes, desserts, and drinks from 30 of South Florida's top restaurants and chefs, plus live entertainment, open bar, and much more. Ticket proceeds benefit Make-A-Wish Southern Florida, Special Olympics Florida, and Orange Bowl Cares. Supporting our community never tasted this good. Get your tickets today at orangebowl.org.
I grew up down here in South Florida, so for me, it's a little bit more personal. The Mesman and Dover is about community for us. For me, you all are our people, our friends, our family, our future. The difference we will make for you, your kids, and your loved ones matters, because to us, it's personal. Hi, my name is Victor DeMesman from DeMesman and Dover Law Firm. If you need us, call us anytime, 24/7 at 866-954-MORE. That's 866-954-6673. DeMesman and Dover Law Firm, youraccidentattorneys.com. Main office, Fort Lauderdale.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This world has its limits, but in the all-new, all-electric Nissan Ariya, you've got a world of possibilities. You can leave it all behind in serene interiors, or you can go after it with available e-Force all-wheel drive. Go your way in the all-new, all-electric Nissan Ariya. Nissan Ariya with e-Force not yet available for purchase. Expected availability early 2023, subject to change. E-Force all-wheel drive is an optional feature. E-Force cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
Looking for AM 560 Sports WQAM in high definition? Find us on the free Odyssey app. Just search WQAM. Make us your favorite station, and you'll get South Florida's best sports talk and play-by-play of the Heat, Panthers, Hurricanes, and Inter Miami. Free. Enjoy.
Gone, gone.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Tobin and Leroy here with you on 560 WQAM. We get back into the Dolphins and all that jazz, but listen, it's DIDMF time, okay?
Damage is done.
Jon Anik is going to join us in about an hour. UFC Miami is here. I am excited. It is a fight week. Woo! Goosies. You don't seem as excited, Leroy.
I am. Come on. What are you talking about?
I think you just...
You know I have me a good time at the fights.
Can't wait to hear all about it.
What are you trying?
That seemed shady.
Yeah.
Seemed like there was shade.
Yeah. What are we doing?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but nonetheless, there was shade thrown.
I mean, that's Tobin's fault.
It's all Tobin's fault.
No.
Can't even look at him.
Can't even look at him.
You guys.
And then you keep talking about it. It's like you're waving it in their face.
I know. You're hurting my feelings.
What?
Right now, you're giving out the opposite of goosey vibes.
Why? Oh, why? Because I'm not, a genie when it comes to UFC tickets.
A genie?
Yeah, you promised us.
How dare you?
I didn't promise anything.
No, you wrote it on my baby's card.
Dude, you're not my son, all right? You don't get to come up to me and say, you pinky promised. He did this move yesterday. We're leaving getting haircuts yesterday. And he goes, can we get a slushie at 7-Eleven? I said, sure, let's go. It's right next to it. So we walk over there.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. The machine doesn't work.
Oh, but
I offer up. I didn't promise. I said, sure. That's not a promise.
I don't know.
Within my power, I would have gotten him a slushie.
Yeah.
The slushie machine was broken, and I don't fart slushies. So here's the thing.
What's your problem?
He looks at me after it's done. He goes,
you better hope not. We got to clean up on aisle 5.
He looks at me after we leave, and he goes, no slushie. He goes, you promised. I said, no, I didn't. Whoa. That's not a promise.
To be fair.
He said, can we go to another 7-Eleven? No, I'm not going This isn't going to be, world tour to get a slushie.
Wow, dude.
Next time we come across a slushie, we'll get a slushie.
What's the Speedway, huh? How close is the nearest Speedway?
Bad parenting.
You did this already with the White Hot Bernie.
No, that's not
You've
true.
done this with the Panther, Stanley C. Panther.
The Stanley C. Panther, the words out of my mouth came, I promise I will get you the Panther when we leave.
Stop promising things you cannot.
And that I
give people.
failed on. That I actually promised, and I did not come through with the promise. I didn't promise a slushie. He asked, can we go get a slushie? I said yes. There's no
What is the difference?
A promise is when you promise something, you're guaranteeing.
Brendan.
Okay. If you say, yeah, if I say, hey, can we go to Chick-fil-A? And I say, sure. If Chick-fil-A is closed that day, that's not my fault.
Don't go on Sunday. That's
Hold on. So let me get this straight. How old's Tommy?
7.
You expect 7-year-old Tasmanian Devil Tommy to fully understand the little nuance that you just gave us.
Dude, everybody
He's 7!
No.
You said slushy, yes. That's all he heard.
Dude.
You didn't put you put the caveat in it. I cannot guarantee that a slushie will be available at this 7-Eleven, but that's where we're going. If there's no slushie, he doesn't hear that. He heard slushy, yes.
Dude, if it's
You're
a promise, you
Bad.
pinky promise. I'm not a fraud. Don't say that. I'm not a fraud.
You are bad parent.
not
You
a
said yes to slushy.
They didn't have it. The machine was broken.
Then you go get a damn slushy. You better go home and get some Kool-Aid and mix it with some ice and blend it. Here's your slushy. This is all we got right now. You make do.
Yeah. Dude, don't play that I'm a fraud. Okay? It's not true.
Really? So,
Tobin's a fraud.
hold on. Let's put this out there.
Yeah.
Tobin says yes to something.
Yep.
He doesn't get it. And then we go Tobin caveat.
This is ridiculous.
Look at that.
How does a 7-year-old know about caveats?
Caveat.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He's 7.
If the slushy machine doesn't work.
Here's all he knows. He went into 7-Eleven to
Yep.
get a slushie. He
That
left
his papa
empty-handed.
promised him.
He left empty-handed. He looks at you and say, "You promised a slushie."
Yep.
You go get a slushie. Sorry. That's parenting.
Indian Rasa says 7-Eleven is on every 2 corners. Dude, Indian Rasa, there's not one on every 2 corners. Okay, you got to go out in the parking lot. You got to use
Hey,
it.
can
You
I
got to
just
go
say
all
this?
the way down a half mile to get to another 7-Eleven.
Can I just say this?
You made that
Correct me if I'm wrong. Everybody passes a minimum of 3 7-Elevens wherever they go.
Dude,
you
there's
for
one-
some reason,
there's
for
one
some
7-Eleven
reason
there.
for your son, your only son,
But I didn't promise.
you will not deviate from your trip for 1
Ridiculous.
second.
Another slushy? Get out of here.
Got to tell you.
Damage is done, my friend.
Yeah, that's it. That's my damage is done.
Ridiculous.
That's my damage is done. That's my
That's
damage
not
is
fair.
done.
You don't get to use
Mine,
my
because you just said it first. Let's take it away from me.
That's mine. Because I'm sorry. I just want to be in it.
That's fine. Come on. Wait a minute. Can I ask you a question, Tobin?
That's not a promise, though, dude.
Can
That's
I
not
ask you a
promise.
question?
It's only half a mile away, dude.
As a 7-year-old, keep in mind,
Yay.
you were a 7-year-old
She in the
with
sky.
special circumstances because you were an only child.
Yep.
So as a 7-year-old, if your parents or anybody close to you said we was getting something, would you hold them to it?
It depends.
No,
Like,
it doesn't. 7-year-olds don't. Wait, 7-year-olds do not say it depends.
Not fair.
What's wrong with you?
Not fair. Like I don't get you the
You're
slushy machine.
Hold on. You're 7 years old.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me after you don't get your slushy, you're gonna say, it depends.
Indian
Come
Ross
on.
says no Wawas available. No Wawas. The only thing that was relatively close
Wawa is
was
everywhere.
was a
like
racetrack.
Wawa.
Racetrack, they got like 30 slushies up in there.
Do they really? I didn't even know that.
Racetrack was actually purchased by 7-Eleven recently, so they have now slushies.
Do they?
Yep.
Well, now I know.
No. -1 for not even trying, you fraud.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Hey, buddy.
If I knew racetracks had slushies, I would have gone to racetracks.
You should have tried. Because guess what? A kid would appreciate if you stopped at 2 places.
You did not do the research?
But you just
I
this
didn't
little
know
time.
racetrack had
Wait,
slushies.
I can't believe you went all caveat on your son, 7-year-old.
Not a caveat.
Wait,
the
can we
haircut
get it?
joint.
Wait, here. Let me reenact this. Papa,
Yes, son.
can we go get a slushie after practice?
No, it was after the haircuts, but yes.
After haircut?
Yes. Sure, buddy.
Okay.
Walk in.
Where's the caveat? You promised.
No, I didn't promise.
Oh, you merely said yes.
No, because here's
Is
the thing.
there a difference?
I'll tell you. Yeah, I will. I will tell you the difference.
Tell me the difference between yes and I promise.
I'll tell you why. So if we would have made the plan, hey Tommy, we're going to get haircuts. If he would have told me beforehand, can we get a slushie afterwards? I would have said, sure. I would lean that's kind of a promise. What he did is there was no preordained agreement. We walk in, we walk out.
Your 7-year-old needs a damn contract to deal with his dad?
We walk out of the barber shop.
Yeah.
I always say, hey, he goes, hey, can we go get a slushie?
You know those contracts only come in the form of child support, so be careful. You're requesting that a 7-year-old. Now he needs.
How is my
you
life
know what?
under the damage
I'm
is
gonna
done?
send. You know what? I'm gonna send D a handful of contracts that your kids have to get you to sign in order. Can we go to the park? Yes. Please sign this.
No, but if we go to the park
That's what you're saying?
No. Because here's the thing. Can we go to the park? Sure. And if the park is closed because there's a forest fire, that's not on me. If my kid comes back at me and says, you promised, I said, yeah, well, that's not a promise
But
because
the park.
Wait.
The park being closed is a tad bit more extreme than a slushie. You can get a slushie anywhere.
No, you can't.
You didn't even try.
Has the slushie.
You didn't even try.
Is it a slushie or a Slurpee? What is it?
But I think other places
Slurpee
have
is a brand.
Slurpees.
So does the 7-Eleven make the slushie or the Slurpee?
They make the Slurpee.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, he likes the Slurpee.
Yeah. Couldn't get him a slushie.
This is ridiculous. I don't like the fact that you guys dogpiled on me.
No,
All because you thought about UFC tickets.
You have false
This is
promises.
ridiculous.
They're hurt.
I don't have UFC. I'm not the UFC Willy
Then you
Wonka.
shouldn't have some
Can I just say something?
I'm asking John today.
Can I just say something? In the parenting arena, you basically just had a third quarter.
This is ridiculous. That's not fair.
It's true, man.
You did. Dude, you just scored 12 points in the third.
Take a break. Cat talk, other shenanigans. Jon Anik's going to join us next hour. Back after this. Welcome back, people. It's Tobin and Leroy here with you on 560 WQAM. Take you up until 2 o'clock. You guys text us 305-567-0560. Streaming live on the YouTube and Twitch, Miami 560 WQAM. Jon Anik, voice of the UFC. He is going to join us later on this hour. Let's get some headlines here. Brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Supercenter. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford. No.
Trucks.
There you go.
There you go. UConn won the national title last night. They beat San Diego State 76-59. Their 5th national title. Didn't watch a second of it.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you.
Although happy for Karan Butler. Apparently he went to go there to, I was like leaving the house today, and the last segment on Get Up was, how blue is UConn's blue blood? I'm like, are you kidding me?
What?
Yeah, because they're like, is UConn part of the Blue Bloods? I'm like, yeah, I think they are.
Why
I think
wouldn't they be?
Yeah, like, what is there? Is there like a Duke bouncer keeping a Husky out of the club? Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that 5 national championships gets you in. If only 4 other programs have done it, I would say their blood is the bluest, Greeny.
It's Peyton Pritchard white.
What?
It's just the same. We already knew he.
Yeah, we knew that. I don't know. It's strange. Heat, they are back in action tonight against the Detroit Pistons at 7 o'clock. Pre-heat gets going at 5:45 with Alejandro Solana. So tune in for that as the Heat take on the Pistons tonight. They need to win to keep their hopes of avoiding the play-in game alive. Although the Nets they got to finish ahead of the Nets. They can't finish tie with the Nets. The Nets have the tie break.
Yeah, I sweat this.
And
right?
If the Nets win and the Heat lose, play-in is locked in for the Heat.
Yikes.
So,
do we even want Bam coming back for this? Like, or do we want to save him for playoffs since we're probably going to be in a play-in? Are we still trying to avoid the play-in?
I don't know, dude. Look,
they just supposed to say we adapted to this or we're embracing this or something like that.
He said we're embracing the struggle. That's what he said. We're embracing the struggle, really which nice. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like words he just says to keep himself from ripping anybody because, well, quite frankly, he's said he doesn't like to yell. He doesn't think it's effective. Doesn't think it's something that works or equates to winning. So, but Bam is probable tonight, and you also have Kyle Lowry questionable. So let's see if they can get this one tonight. Meanwhile, let's get to some cat talk here, brought to us by our friends over at Celsius. Oh, Celsius. Sweet, sweet Celsius.
Yeah, you got the good stuff. Huh?
How I love thee. Yeah, I didn't put it in the freezer, though. I forgot to do that.
That's
but
fair.
Just for marketing purposes,
yes,
it is delicious.
It is delicious.
Hockey fans, don't sit this one out when it's game time. Make Celsius party playing. Get that energy up. Game day is fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks, the official energy drink of the Florida Panthers. The Panthers. Whoa, that is a lot of Celsius on your head. Are you all right there, Predator?
Dangerous.
I am better than ever.
I think that box looks a little flimsy, J Fig. I would just be careful.
It's okay. I got this.
Right
here. Look at that.
I don't know. I mean,
Okay, now she's dancing.
All right, now it's
tropical vibe. I'm in a really good mood right now.
It is tropical.
Good vibes.
I really feel like that's gonna break.
Meanwhile, your camera's making us dizzy because it's moving with the box.
It is. So here's some news from Paul Maurice, Jameson Olive from FloridaPanthers.com. He tweets out, Paul Maurice said that they won't let Bobrovsky, who's dealing with an illness, back up unless they're sure he could play if needed. He skated this morning and is a game-time decision to back up Alex Lyon. So Alex Lyon will get the start either way.
All right.
But if Bobrovsky will be active, depends on if he's all the way healthy. So, and Sam Bennett's still on the mend too. But Alex Lyon gets the start tonight in the biggest game of the Panthers season. He has been really good in these last 3 games.
Playing well.
He is
got a shutout, right?
He is. He did. He got his first career shutout in a 7-0 win. So need this one tonight, man. Buffalo Sabres in town, 7 o'clock. And also the Miami Marlins. They take on the Minnesota Twins in game 2 of their 3-game set.
Yeah.
Sandman on the hill tonight. 6:40 first pitch from Lone Depot Park. It's Sandy's beach night.
Is it?
Yup.
Wow. I'm predicting a win.
I'm predicting don't lose.
Oh, okay.
No, they really need this one. Like, seriously, 1-5 and you lose 2 Sandy starts. That's
But Gabby mentioned it earlier on the show that we just kind of got the bad luck of the draw, man. We got two pretty good teams right off the back.
All right. Well, guess what? You know,
some would argue that the best time to get these really good teams is earlier in the season.
For sure. We still have time to come back from this horrible start.
Yeah. Yesterday was the worst of it because you brought in Johnny Cueto.
Yeah.
And he got tattooed, and then they took him out of injury. It's because he's already old, and as Leroy will point out, portly.
Huh.
And so not great.
Me personally, I think he ought to go with the baggy pants. Give him a little more flexibility. He up in there in those running tights. No wonder he can't move.
Marlins catcher Jacob Stallings pitched yesterday because they just wanted to save arms.
Wow.
Yep.
We already hold on. All right, like I get why they do it.
Did he do well?
Hold on. No.
Okay. Well, there's
so let me explain something to you. We already saving the bullpen 5 games into the season.
Well,
that can't be good.
It's not. I mean, like it hasn't been good. They have, they've been, that's not ideal when your pitcher goes out in 1 inning and you were already up. They had some kid on making his major league debut last night, like an inning into the game. It wasn't an ideal situation for them at all. At all. So,
Can somebody in South Florida that's not FAU or the men's or women's Canes team go on a stretch where they win for more than a week?
It's a lot of asking.
We've never sat down for a show on Monday.
Yep.
And come back the following Monday and go, whew, that was a good stretch for the team.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, Leroy. It has been a tough stretch.
For every team down here?
It's been a trying year for these, but we got action tonight. Maybe we get a sweepskis. Maybe we get 3 for 3 tonight. Can we get 3 for 3 tonight?
Technically, it wouldn't be a 305 parlay, but
no. But can we get
South Florida parlay?
Yeah, can we get a Panthers, Marlins, Heat 3 for 3 tonight?
I got to tell you, in order of confidence, I'm going to go Panthers, Heat, Marlins.
So your order of confidence is the same as your order of importance.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I would go.
Can you tell me you trust the Heat to go out there?
I think the Heat will get it done tonight. I think the Heat will get it done.
You've been saying that for the last month, dude, and they lose by 20 to
Orlando tonight. You asked me what's my level of confidence. If I have my level of confidence, I agree with your level of importance. Importance is Panthers, Heat, Marlins. My level of confidence goes Heat, Panthers, Marlins. Even with Sandman on the hill tonight, I mean, we should probably be confident they're going to win with Sandman, right? He's Sandy.
You are all right.
You can't say I'm being a homer thinking they'll beat the Pistons.
No, what you expect and what you want and what you expect are two different things, and you don't realize it.
I'm not Wild E. Coyote, dude. That's not true.
I'm just saying, like do you realize my last conversation with you before you went on spring break?
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Was how great you felt about the Heat going on a run.
I thought they were coming together. They lost 3 straight.
Okay. So I would say, what has changed? Because you still have a lot of confidence in the team that haven't given you reason to be confident.
I believe in Jimmy Butler.
Okay. I believe in Jimmy Butler too. But Jimmy can't win by himself.
I believe in Jimmy Butler.
All right.
I'm hoping Bam's healthy. If Bam's healthy, I believe in Bam.
All right.
Black man and Robin, baby.
Even though the best game they played was without Bam?
That's not the best game they played.
Pretty good.
No, that's not the best game they played.
They played one game.
Dude, they played a game. They played against. They arguably played against the most disappointing team in the league. Like people gotta relax on hosing down Bam because Cody Zeller caught a couple dunks. Not that I don't love Cody
hosing
Zeller.
him down.
Hosing him down, dude. You dismissed him.
Why would I just? No, I didn't dismiss him.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't trying to dismiss him.
I mean, not the first time you've gone and given Bam the business. Not the first time. That's why I
Really?
told you to stop that bleep. Yep.
Really?
What?
I give him Bam. When have I given Bam the business?
Oh,
I
the
never give
business
Bam the
dude.
business.
Hey, Leroy, stop this.
Yep.
No -1 here.
I appreciate the fact that they could say that,
Mm-hmm.
but they won't say Tobin, calm down.
What do you mean?
Just what I said.
I'm in their corner.
You're a little over the top at times.
I don't feel like I'm over the top.
Really?
I feel like I'm right along at the right level that I should be.
For a fan with good access.
Dude, I'm not a fan with good access. When I have to be there, I put on my journalist hat. I am professional.
Fraud with good access.
Dude.
With a Slurpee in his hand.
That's what we should do. We should all go to a Marlins game and everybody bring a Slurpee. Just
take a break. Jon Anik's going to join us later on this hour. We'll talk some UFC 287. It is returning to Miami this Saturday night. Back after this.
The season is winding down for
All right, welcome back, you rascals. Tobin and Leroy here with you on 560 WQAM. Take you up until 2 o'clock. Jon Anik, voice of the UFC. He's going to join us in about 15 minutes. UFC 287 week is here. I am excited, dude. I am excited.
You deserve it, man.
Fight week in town, baby.
You waited a long time for this.
I can't believe, I got to be honest with you. What do we have Dana White on? Like a year ago, Leroy?
Yeah.
He told us, he said soon. I thought he was full of it.
Yeah.
Yep. And soon was a year. Not too bad.
Not too bad at all.
Not too bad. What was it, 2 years ago we had him on? I don't remember.
Look at him. He delivered on his promise.
He delivered on his promise.
I got to find out.
I don't remember the last time we had him on.
I need a date now.
It was for Masvidal.
almost a
It was
year
for no, it was for Masvidal Covington. That's what we had him on. So I think that was 305 last year. A little over a year.
Nah, I don't trust you.
I remember.
A little over. Look, it was a little over. It was right before 305. Masvidal.
Speaking of guys we could trust, Mike McDaniel. We were talking about Leroy scolded us, Marcos. He accused us of star bleepery.
I don't understand
because we want Dalvin Cook,
Good
even though we have two good running backs already on the cheap skis.
Yeah.
This was Mike McDaniel a mere days ago at the owners' meetings on why they ran it back with their running backs.
We had the opportunity to bring two of our strongest character contributors and really, players we depend on in Raheem and Jeff. They're both, I think, above 4.7 yards per carry. And when I look at the tape, I think there'd be a little different feeling if, I don't think we didn't run the ball, not because they didn't run the ball well. We didn't run the ball well in games that we were overly injured or some games that just didn't call enough runs. So when you look at it, historically, if you can get a runner 4.5 plus, they're doing something pretty good. I think we were able to get those two guys together, which was very important. And I see them as a big part of our team and just the fabric and who we are as human beings. They really contribute to that locker room. Makes it very excited to get those guys. And I honestly believe they're playing their best ball of their careers.
A pretty strong endorsement. I got to be honest with you. I mean, if I'm going to believe,
my question, my only question is this: is when you're putting together a team, you have to look at the cost versus production. Okay, I get why people will want Dalvin Cook, but if he's $7 million better than the two guys you got, what is that? How does that show up in numbers? Because if they average 4.7 plus yards a carry. What is Dalvin Cook going to have to do to justify you paying him another extra $7 million? That's
gonna
real.
have to be a lot.
That's reality.
It is
right.
The only thing is, it's you do wonder. I think with Mostert, I think Mostert's more explosive, but I do worry that he's like on the other side of 30. He does seem to get banged up every year.
You got two of them.
That's true.
Okay. So does Dalvin Cook.
And what did he say?
So does Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, but not last year though.
Yep. What have you done for me?
And it's a shoulder,
Yeah.
Although Mostert was a thumb. Either way,
you just keep you think you're wiggling out, and then you dig yourself a deeper hole.
No, I mean, look, if I'm going to believe Mike McDaniel on Tua's endorsement, I should believe him on the running back endorsement. And I know he loves those guys. Those are his guys.
But I'm just saying, even if he didn't love them, right? Financially, you're not getting significantly better at the position for what you would be paying.
What if we move money?
Huh?
What if we move money? I know Cedric Wilson.
You don't need to.
Come on, just a little.
I think
bit.
moving money was paying them cheap. I think that was part of moving money.
Right.
It's not a money issue. You're saying it's a bang for your buck issue.
Right.
But what did you rather go to?
But my question, he said a lot of these situations was on him anyway.
Yes, he did say
it wasn't I just didn't run it enough. Okay. I understand that. It happens during the course of a game.
Explain that.
Okay. Well, it's like so for example, if your quarterback throws for 150 yards in the first quarter, right? You think you found something that's working, and you just kind of stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep going until there's some kind of failure, and then you say, "Oh, let's run the ball." Whereas some coaches go into every game saying, "Let's establish the run," and everything else we do will be based off of us establishing the run.
Is it also a case of on this team too, like you're going to give as many touches to those two wide receivers as possible?
Yeah, because they're great in open space.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing wrong with that. That's how your team is built. That's how your team is built, and that's fine.
So like the only way they're
you don't need a $10 million running back if that's the way you approach things. You just don't. So yeah, I get why people want Dalvin Cook. I don't have a problem with Dalvin Cook at all. I just have a problem with paying $7+ million more for a guy who nobody can tell me is $7 million better than the two guys you have. That you got to make some deals. You got to get some bargain deals at certain positions when you put a team together.
Bobby D says Mostert ran hard. The F wrong with boss baby Tobin.
Wow.
That's harsh. Jesus.
Shot there.
That's harsh. I like Mostert.
Mostert did run hard. There was times where we thought he was a speed back and not the power back, but he ran hard, dude.
No, he did run hard, especially when Wilson got here.
When Wilson got there and he mysteriously start running
I
much
love
harder.
Raheem Mostert. If anybody was giving Raheem Mostert the business this year, it was old Pros Pro.
That's true.
Leroy was like,
Leroy.
let's get going, Mostert.
Yep.
Every week we'd get Mostert slander. And then all of a sudden Wilson gets here. Leroy's like, there's the Mostert I like.
Yeah. I call it like I see it. I didn't hold no grudge against him when he started running that rock. Nope, I did not.
Who doesn't love a little Mostert and relish? You know what I'm saying?
-1.
-1.
Quickly. That was so bad. Listen. You got to know, we're all paying attention after the slushy incident.
You don't think,
Fraud.
you think Jeff Wilson likes the nickname Relish? I hate Relish.
Yeah, no one really likes him.
Mostert and Wellish.
Point.
Oh man, I want to get into this this Patriots debacle that seems like it's going on in the offseason. I like a lot of frosting.
Hey,
Patriots.
you know what?
Imploding, dude.
You muted yourself, dude. You pulled out you pulled out your cord.
Is it back?
Yeah.
So I ran into some Boston fans.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And I've never been madder at fans who I don't care about anyway.
Because they're ingrates?
Yeah. They're like, oh, we might have to get a new coach after this year. I'm like,
there is like Patriots frostiness. Apparently, like people are claiming rift between Belichick and Kraft and that he might be on the hot seat or might not finish his career with the Patriots. I find this crazy.
Wow.
I find this crazy. Like, what are you talking about? That man has won you 6 Super Bowls, and he hasn't. And they got Mac Jones as a quarterback, and you say, why can't you win like you did with Brady? Well, 2 words: Mac Jones.
We'll take a quick break. A man who is the voice of the UFC. All right, friend of the show. We love hearing from him. And he has spoken this into existence. He told us one day we will get a UFC card down here. Jon Anik. One day you will hear him on the call this weekend of UFC 287. He joins us next.
Miami.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Tobin and Leroy here with you on 560 WQAM.
I just seen a ridiculous Will Smith movie.
What'd you say?
I was watching TV and Gemini Man came on.
What the hell is that? I've never even heard of that.
I vaguely
It's here. Will Smith is 50-something years old, and somebody sends a younger version of himself, cloned a younger version of himself to go kill him.
Yeah.
Isn't his son in that movie?
No, this is just different versions of him. Like they did a digitally enhanced younger version of him.
Oh, all right. And no good? All right. I can tell on your look. Let's go out to the Toyota of Hollywood guest line. Shop over 1,500 Toyotas indoors in one of America's largest showrooms at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. Leroy and I are pumped. It is UFC fight week down here in Miami, UFC 287 at Miami Dade Arena. We are going to be in the building for that one. We cannot wait. And the voice of the UFC, Jon Anik. We have spoken about this before with Jon. It has been spoken into existence. It is happening. Jon, first of all, good afternoon. Thank you for the time. And how pumped are you that you do not have to stay in hotels or anything like that, that you have a hometown fight you get to call?
Oh, it's good to be with you, boys, especially with this Miami backdrop. We have talked about this before, BT, as you well know, and with respect to the entire Sunshine State in which we all reside. We're not talking about Hollywood. We're not talking about Fort Lauderdale, Jacksonville, Tampa, Orlando, where I've called fights. We're talking about Miami, Florida, 20 years in the making. Obviously, we needed the right fight. We needed the presence of the King of Miami, Jorge Masvidal, and just a few more sleeps, fellas. I'm excited.
I was blown away by this, Jon, because I was starting to watch a little bit of the countdown before the show today, and they show the footage of the last time I was here. That fight was before Dwayne Wade was drafted in that building. Like, that's how long it's been. It kind of blew my mind to think about it. It's been that long since they have been in the 305. Doing it, have you like looked back at reminiscing it to any of those from that card way back in that day?
Yeah, I did actually a couple of weeks ago. I did sort of a deep dive, but obviously getting this close with 26, 28 fighters to wrap my head around, I haven't been able to look back. It is really crazy, though, if you guys do get a chance to go to UFC Fight Pass and look back just at the infancy of this sport, relative infancy, like 20, 25 years ago. It'll blow your minds. I mean, there's footage of judges, right? A fight would end, and a judge would stand up with a placard with the name on it as to who he or she thought won. Can you imagine if we did that in the arena right now? At the end of the fight, the judge just stands up with a card, liable to get hit with a beer bottle in the middle of the guys, you know?
They would need police escorts out of the facility.
It's pretty wild. So, Jon, it was weird talking to Jorge before this fight was happening when they announced it. I was pretty shocked to hear from him talk about the idea that this could be his last one if he doesn't beat Gilbert Burns. We haven't really heard Masvidal talk about that like he's picturing maybe that this could be the end. Are you surprised, like, that all the years that he's been in this, that he realizes that, you know, when he talked to me, he said back against the wall, that was the terminology he's using for this. How much do you feel like is on the line for him in this one, and where his career's at?
Well, he's 20 years in the game. I mean, the first time I ever called a mixed martial arts fight in 2009, he was on the card. And of course, it was his 20th pro fight at that point in time. So I don't have to tell you guys he's been at this a long time, you know, more than 50 professional MMA fights. That says nothing of what he's done in the streets, of course, but there's a lot of miles on his tank. And even though his schedule hasn't been particularly intensive over the last several years, I think he would probably tell you in a quiet room that he is not in his fighting prime. As great as this training camp was, as much as in theory this Miami backdrop could help him, you know, this is not a prime Jorge Masvidal. And I think certainly the betting line reflects that, even though I think it's totally out of whack to see Gilbert Burns as a 5-1 favorite. But I will say, if George loses this weekend, 4 in a row, he's in Miami. As great as his show money is, there's plenty of ways for him to realize financial freedom beyond fighting. I just think it might be a nice way for him to go out, depending on the fight. But I think he's a live underdog, and I think you're going to get a great performance this weekend. So we'll see what that does for his future.
Jon, I watch UFC. Tobin has dragged me through a lot of these fights everywhere in the country. And my biggest question is that, do we get the fights that are the best fights to see, or do we get the fights that are going to generate the most money. Because I always get caught up in, there's fights that we all want to see, and it takes so long to see those fights. And this fight seems to be a fight that we just want to see Masvidal fight, but is it a good fight for him?
Well, it's a good question, and the betting line certainly would suggest to you that it's not a particularly good matchup, right? Oftentimes, I will write down what I think the betting line is going to be before I actually take a look, and I thought that Gilbert Burns, just given what he's accomplished, given his grappling with respect to the BJJ black belt Jorge Masvidal, that Gilbert Burns might be a 2 or 2.5 to 1 favorite. I didn't expect him to be minus 490. Now, I understand a lot of Masvidal's recent performances are factored into this number, but I think it's way too wide and way too pronounced. And I'm certainly not saying that because he's the king of Miami. Gilbert Burns has huge Floridian support, and I expect that those people are going to be heard from Saturday night. As far as putting on the fights that people want to see versus a meritocracy, there are a lot of different masters that the UFC has to serve. I think generally speaking, Dana White and Hunter Campbell and the matchmakers do a pretty good job of getting the fights that people want to see to fruition. There are certainly other promotions out there that have a tournament format. And when Bellator was launched back in 2009, that was their whole philosophy, to set up a tournament and sort of put the matchmaking on the back burner and let a fighter control his or her own destiny. But there's so many different things that go into this. And candidly, fellas, we're back in Miami because of Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. So if he goes out at plus 390 and knocks out Gilbert Durinho Burns and he gets a championship opportunity, I'm not sure how much of the fan base is going to have a problem with it, right?
No,
Certainly he's got to go do that, but, star power can reign supreme, and that's just part of the reality in which we live.
It is one of the things that I found interesting, though, because, recently after the Leon Usman fight, Dana coming out and saying that Colby's going to get the shot. I found that so strange because we were going to get this fight in a couple of weeks, and I'm sure they would have had a chance to say, oh, man, if the fans are going that crazy, Leon has made it known that he would, would be very interested in fighting Jorge, obviously because of their backstory. And, with Gilbert, having some fresh blood. So I just feel like more dominoes could have fallen in this welterweight division. As you mentioned on Twitter, Bilal Muhammad's killing it right now. What he did to Sean Brady was nuts. So are you surprised that they went so quickly in the direction of saying, nope, this is the direction we're going with the championship fight? And do you think that something could still sway it?
I'm not sure that Dana White is going to be talked off of Colby Covington as the number one contender. I think their internal metrics probably suggest that he can produce the biggest pay-per-view number alongside Leon Edwards. But I certainly think Jorge Masvidal is going to have something to say about that. And unlike Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal and Bilal Muhammad both have embedded history against Leon Edwards. Of course, Masvidal and Edwards get into a scrap in the back after a Masvidal win, and then the Bilal Muhammad-Leon Edwards fight was a main event that Bilal took on short notice, and it ended with a no contest. So it's unlike Dana to matchmake right after an event. But I think he has a lot of respect for Colby, the way Colby has maybe navigated certain situations behind the scenes that we're not privy to, the fact that he did not only weigh in as a backup in London, but looked damn good in doing so. And, even though Colby and I don't always see eye to eye, I do see him as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. So I'm a promoter more than I am a journalist. I can probably make a case for all of these guys, but to me, in a meritocracy, it's not Masvidal, it's not Covington, it's not Burns. Bilal Muhammad's the number one contender.
Yeah, it's no doubt, especially, all the criticism I think people took of his style. What he did to Sean Brady was crazy. Like he buzzsawed him. And I think that stunned a lot of people. And I feel like, his reward for that apparently is getting the Shavkat, who's also looking like an absolute monster. So it's weird sometimes, John, and I think this speaks to Leon being the champ now. It's weird how sometimes, it takes guys the longer ride, and maybe that's more satisfactory for them. But, you never quite know who gets the tap on the shoulder at the right time. But maybe, that'll make Bilal, if he ever becomes champion, that much sweeter.
Yeah, and it is interesting because we are in an era where a lot of champions will call their shot. And Israel Adesanya, the former champion who fights Alex Pereira this weekend in Miami Dade, has long been the guy who has called out the number one contender. He's always calling out the most dangerous guy and wants the most dangerous fight. I think Leon Edwards is probably the most dangerous welterweight in the world right now, and he's the one with the belt, right? But I think he wants to be able to sort of control some of that destiny, and I'm not sure he's going to be afforded that opportunity. Obviously, money talks, but they seem pretty hell-bent on making the fight between Covington and Edwards, so much so to your point, Tobin, that they kind of undercut Masvidal and Burns a little bit, who are fighting here in a few days.
There's some people at middleweight I haven't been able to understand, John. Yoel Romero, I don't understand how that made 185. Paulo Costa. But Alex Bejeda, I don't understand, John. I don't understand how is he that size? How can he get to that size? Because when he gets in the cage with Stylebender, he looks like a monster, and he's like one of the biggest freaks in the sport right now. Does he have the most impressive body for the weight class that he fights at?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I mean, there have been some physical freaks, and there are a lot of them. Even a guy, Jailton Almeida, who is crossing between light heavyweight and heavyweight right now, is an absolute freak. But yes, Alex Pereira looks so different physically than he did in the first kickboxing meeting between these two athletes. And he cuts a lot of weight. He cuts a lot of weight late in the game. He doesn't sleep dehydrated. He's one of these guys who wakes up morning of and cuts a lot of weight. So sometimes people are kind of waiting with bated breath to see if he's going to actually make the number. And who knows? I mean, 215, 220 is what he probably walks at the following night, right? 30 pounds heavier than what he weighs in at, 36 hours prior. I'm not sure how long he is for the weight class, given that reality. I think he could move up to light heavyweight as soon as Saturday night, depending on what this result is. But I do think that you will see Alex Pereira as a light heavyweight and as a contender. I think there's a lot of favorable matchups for him at 205.
Before we get you out of here, John, how many people are hitting you up for tickets this week? It has to be crazy. Like, I imagine in your town, are people just hitting you up left and right to try and get you cage? Because I think it's going to be a star-studded event in Miami, UFC. I know this is a place where people are going to want to be seen. So what is Jon Anik's phone like this week of people to get in last minute?
It's wild, man. And I will tell you, it's a lot easier for me to get a ticket in Orlando than it is Miami. I mean, I'm sure a lot of your listenership has seen some of the prices of these nosebleeds. And hopefully, if your listenership hasn't seen a UFC live event, as many of you out there that are listening can find a way in the building. I'm trying to get my 11-year-old daughter on the floor, kind of getting the Heisman from the UFC, but hopefully I can get her down. No, we'll see. I just want her I want to be able to go and see my daughter. She's never experienced a pay-per-view before, so I'm very excited for that. But yeah, man, I just think that Miami's just different, right? And I say that with all due respect to everywhere else we have been in Florida. I didn't think that this was going to materialize. I started getting wicked pessimistic. And if Masvidal does retire this Saturday night, thank goodness we got this done, because he's going to be 39 in November. And I really think his presence on the card, among other factors, was really the impetus to check this box for us.
You got it, John. Listen, if they're giving this stuff up, one seat next to DC and Rogan, like, let's go. Like, just call it Take Your Child to Work Day. Like, that's got to happen. That's the least they could do for you, man.
Hey, of course, my twin brother's calling me. He's like, can you at least have her wear something appropriate in Miami Dade Arena on Saturday night?
We appreciate the time, John. Thank you for always making time for us. We can't wait. We can't wait to be in the building this weekend. We're looking forward to it, man. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, guys. Can't wait to have you there. Talk soon.
There you go. Jon Anik, voice of the UFC. Always appreciate it.
I just think that like it's changed so much that now guys can talk themselves into a fight, when before it was all about where you stood on that list.
Yeah, it's a good point, man. Like, it used to just be, it used to feel like it was a lot easier to figure out. And I do feel like more stuff is in the weeds over the last few years than it has been.
Here's what changed the game. The second fight clause, right? A lot of the champs have that in their thing.
Oh, you mean rematch clause?
Rematch clause.
That's more of a boxing thing. That's not really a UFC thing. But
the other thing is that, okay, these guys talk trash, try to get a fight going, and if you have a guy who's really good but doesn't talk that much, is not going to get a pay-per-view, he may be the one that's in line for a fight, but the other one may pick up steam and they just don't even put him in the mix.
Marcos, you see this Bejeda? He's scary, yeah?
I was actually just looking him up. This guy is ripped. And the fact that John says that he cuts essentially
he doesn't make sense.
Pounds?
Yeah, he's 6'4", but he's like, because they're both 6'4".
Wow. Yeah, but no,
but
this
like,
is different too.
He looks bigger than the light heavyweight champion, Jamal Hill.
Yeah, he does.
It's weird. I don't know how he makes 185 pounds.
Nah, that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Like, he looks like he could be a heavyweight.
Yeah, for sure. And I think he said he's probably going to end up moving up.
Probably. I mean, I guess it depends. It depends if he wins. I think he's going to defend.
Yeah, for sure.
You think anybody moving up is thinking I got to deal with John Jones?
Yeah, but that's 2 weight classes away.
Yeah.
But still, I couldn't imagine wanting to cut 30 pounds of weight a week. That feels like torture.
Yeah, and he said something like he doesn't go to sleep dehydrated. What did that mean?
I don't know.
Sometimes fighters do that.
I don't know.
Maybe they do that before.
He doesn't look like he goes to sleep. He looks like he's a cyborg.
It's the craziest thing in that I can tell you one of the hardest things to do is not just to cut weight. You have to realize these guys cut weight and they're fighting in 2 days or in a day. Do they weigh in Friday or Saturday?
Friday.
So they're fighting in a day.
Yeah.
So they're like doing whatever they can to get all that water off of them. And then they're going and drinking nothing but electrolytes and eating pasta for the next day.
Pasta. That's what I took out.
You liking it?
A little bit. I like pasta. Thanks again to Jon Anik for joining us. We know. Me and Johnny Cueto love our pasta.
You ain't talking about eggplant parm neither.
He certainly gave up the meatballs from his pasta yesterday. I mean, geez.
Those big ones, like that big one they put on your plate for appetizer.
Oh man. Thanks again to Jon Anik for giving us some time. Always appreciate it. I'm looking forward to all the fight week festivities down at Miami Dade Arena. We're back with more after this.
right, Don. It's a big game today. We need a win, all right? And you know, these guys, they got some good bets on them. We need someone who's going to be able to lock things down. We need someone to,
It's like Sunday. Got a dog in a fight. I don't really care if it's wrong or it's right. You ain't gotta ask me, it's a ball or a strike. Wanna be like Mike? No, I wanna be like Sandy. Sandy, I got that. I give him the ball and just go as my mantra. All-star votes get the most, so I'm harming it. Major League Baseball, I promise I'm warning you. Respect the starters now. Respect the starter now.
Oh man, nothing will get me bounced back from 11-1 like Marcos' Sandy.
oh, man, that's a rough.
That's a great song, dude. Though, like in the pantheon of parody songs, underrated. Like if that was a song about a Heat player, gazillion retweets, my friend, gazillion plays. It's just because it's about a Marlin. I'm telling you right now.
Here's what's crazy though.
Parody songwriter, as fine as it gets.
Thank you, sir. That means
Our ties to the sports down here is a little more expansive than just the Heat, even though we do extensive coverage of the Heat.
Yep.
So we have, like you and Bob. Like that's
Bob.
Yeah,
Even though you guys said I jinxed him.
You did. He hadn't played since.
More or less.
He hadn't played since.
You what?
First of all, it's not true he didn't play.
What?
He did play.
You what?
Just the numbers awkwardly after I interviewed him seemingly sprung up. And then he got ill with something.
Right. Look at those eyes.
That's not how he looks.
Hilarious.
I love that. I love the that site Stat Muse. They just make cartoons of everybody.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
It looks kind of creepy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Look,
Somebody's
he's
texting
got
in.
the same facial hair as you, Tobin.
Guy says, Tobin, do you have any idea where they'll be walking out from the fighters? Dude, no, I don't know what the arena layout is of UFC 287. I know a lot about UFC. I don't know where somebody's coming in. Cool that you want to get the walkout seats.
Oh, I'm gonna see if I can get your attention this way. BT. Let me explain. You know, we're the only ones that don't call him that, by the way.
I know, it's weird.
We're the only ones that don't call him that.
I know.
Which is frightening because when we go places and they yell, "What's up, BT?" and I'm like looking at him like, "You got it like that?"
Yeah, I guess so.
Sometimes I think they say BET.
Oh, BLT. That's probably what he thinks.
I was waiting for you to say that. I'm glad that you lived up to it.
So
I don't know. I'm looking right now.
Tobin, in fairness to that texter, I'm gonna go in his defense because y'all remember me. How many times did I ask the Canes which side of the field?
No, I got you.
So and I bought my tickets accordingly. So
Right.
I'm not just gonna dismiss a guy asking, does he know where they're gonna come out? Because maybe he wants to sit in that general area.
I don't know how that would work. I would guess, I think for a lot of the times when they do a basketball arena, I feel like you would come out of the home locker room on one side and then the road for the other. And that we
were in the press box. We were in the same press box we were in. So the press box we were in, if you know where and I'm just thinking because we were in the stadium, so it's gonna be a little different. But I would guess that in the Heat's arena, that they would come out probably the same way out of the corner like the place.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think that corner
because you can't come out the middle because there's a restaurant right there.
Right, because the locker room, it's like 107, 108, but it's just one door. But I think that corner that you're talking about, that's like 113-ish, 114-ish. I think that's where that would be.
Because they come down.
That's probably where they walk
You
out.
don't just walk out. Like you got to come down the hall and then go to like the corner of the arena, then come out.
Because if they're walking all the way to the other corner, like where like Uptown Dale and Bernie come out, that's kind of a far walk from the locker room. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. So it feels like logistically it would be the other way. But
I got to tell you, the acoustics would probably be better than being in the stadium, right?
Dude, I'm telling you right now, that is the thing about, and Dana White does say this to his credit because he's a big production guy. The thing about UFC events, the acoustics the way people roar, the music, the way that it plays. Like when somebody's intro music plays, it's like, oh, it's off the charts. It's so cool. It's so cool. I can't wait. Let's get into some headlines brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
Oh, wow. Your truck is riding a Cola Celsius. That's double product placement.
That's the OG, baby. The OG.
Anybody in that sales
I
meeting right now?
might be the only person that likes this flavor.
You love the cola.
Yeah.
You love the cola.
Yeah.
So how about this? We were talking about this a little before John came on. Seems to be a lot of rifty riffs going on in Patriots land. And I gotta say, I'm here for it.
In greats.
Yeah, but apparently, Leroy, the word on the street was on the old football streets are old Robert Kraft and then Bill Belichick relationship frosty.
And so what?
Maybe
Wait. Hold on.
6 Super Bowls.
Let's be clear.
He ran off his beloved Tom.
Let's be clear. Before you owned the Patriots, they were worth X amount of dollars. 6 Super Bowls later, now they're worth that much more.
I get you, but
so
we've seen even
look. You don't have to get along with everybody you work with.
I understand, but a lot of the times we see with very successful organizations, there's a little downward trend. All of a sudden, gets a little snippy.
So what? You know what Bill's question? You know what Bill's answer to those questions are? 25 years.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, and I'm with you, ingrates. But that didn't play well in Boston. That didn't play well in Boston. What do you mean? The current subject is current events, not the past, Bill.
Okay.
What have you done for me lately?
Hold on.
I'm one without you.
I'm going to say this. Like I say to all these other fans that have something good, but it's not good enough, right? That you can't quite get over the hump. So you make all these changes, right?
Yep.
You know that the difference between being the Boston to being the New England Patriots and the Cleveland Browns ain't that much. Like you make one bad turn, one bad decision, and then you're chasing for the next 10 years.
Dude, yeah, definitely. I mean, look at the Dolphins. Like how long is the chase of replacing Marino been?
Remember once that wasn't good enough to just get the playoffs?
Nope. No, I do remember, but I'm agreeing with you. Yes.
Remember Don Shula?
Yep.
Like they
just passed him by.
Right.
Now,
I mean, be careful.
Here's another piece of frostiness. Apparently, according to multiple people.
Oh my goodness, don't say that.
What?
Like you're just trying to give yourself some credibility.
I'm not giving myself credibility.
Multiple sources.
Multiple
people. Who the hell you calling in Boston?
Well, one of them's Chris Sims.
See, no. You cannot use Chris Sims as a source.
Fine. This NBC Sports.
Unless your source is in hell.
Well, the Patriots reside in hell, so I feel like I feel like he would have the insight on what's going on in hell. NBC Sports Boston's Tom E. Kern, he's covered the Patriots for a long time, said that Mac Jones's decision to seek other help from outside of the organization on the team's offense, quote, really pissed Bill Belichick off. He says, as we know, a disloyalty in Bill's mind is almost worse than a bad play.
Correct.
Even though you could say it's ironic because he's trying to get better and he's wondering, are we supposed to be doing this? He's asking around the football world about it. The effort to improve was showing up the Matt Patricia, Joe Judge contingent, which, I mean, what a loser contingent that is.
Now, I will say this.
When Bill caught wind of it, he was really pissed off about it.
Agreed. Because, first of all, Mac Jones ain't that good.
You're not that guy, Mac Jones.
Right. But here's the other problem is that I'm not mad at Mac Jones for this reason. If you're not consistent with who you are as a franchise, why do you want him to show loyalty? Hell, you didn't know for half of the year who the damn offensive coordinator is, and now you want him to respect the offensive coordinator? Who is it?
I will say this whole multiple offensive coordinator thing and the frostiness on the young QBs, it does seem like Brian Flores did learn the Patriots way, because that seems eerily similar to what happened with Tua.
Here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. And I think people should take note of this. They call it dual offensive coordinators, but one of the problems sometimes is your best offensive mind might not be the best talker. And so somebody else needs to call the plays.
Are you, do you think that was maybe an issue with the Dolphins last year with Mike McDaniel not being efficient in words?
Dude, he just here, you have about 15 seconds to call a play. That gives the team about 20 seconds to get to the line of scrimmage and go over checks, right? You can't be having a discussion in between every play, Mike.
Tua, what's the play? Tua, what's the play? I don't know. He's telling me about Socrates or something. I don't know, man. I'm waiting for it.
Dude.
Tua. I don't know. Just give us a time.
I'm gonna tell you what. Bernie, they had just gone to the mics, right? And so Bill was calling in plays, or whoever the offensive coordinator was calling in plays, and the play would come in, and Bernie would look down in the huddle and go, "Don't anybody look towards the sidelines."
Why?
Because we ain't running that play.
Oh my god. So that's why Bill Belichick was pissed off by him.
Because he ain't that good. Hold on.
I will say though,
if Aaron Rodgers had said something like that,
yes,
that's a whole different story, right?
Okay.
Because we would immediately go to, well, it was kind of a cluster bleep on offense, right? We would say that, oh, we don't know who's making the decision, so he's going somewhere else to try to fine-tune his game.
But
Mac Jones? Mac Jones?
In words I never thought I would say. I can't believe this coming out of my mouth. In Mac Jones's defense. Whoa. I can't believe I said that.
Marcos,
need a shower.
Mark the tape. We will use this frequently during football season.
In Mac Jones's defense.
Just that.
His offensive coordinator was Matt Patricia, who's never done the job.
That's so true.
I mean, he's been a defensive coordinator his entire career, and he basically was told by Bill Belichick, "Hey, you think you can give this a go?"
Which is crazy. Wait. With all of the coaching that's in the United States, with all the brains and the brain trust going in offensive football that we see today,
yep,
right? Your best choice is a defensive coach. Look, I defend Bill Belichick till the end of time. And I've never had a problem with Bill Belichick.
Of course, you love him.
But I got to tell you, there's say 1 million offensive coaches in the United States, right? And out of 1 million guys, you couldn't offer somebody a little change? You had to go with a defensive coach? I'm just saying. It doesn't bode well for it doesn't bode well for the confidence of a young quarterback.
Take a quick break. 15 minutes of heat. Big one tonight. That's next.
Previously on
Tobin and Leroy.
I think Mac Jones is going to stink.
Good luck, Mac.
with Valley Sports Florida Marlins analyst, former Marlins All-Star, Gaby Sanchez, joining us here on the Toyota of Hollywood guest line. Shop with 1,500 Toyotas indoors and one of America's largest showrooms at Toyota of Hollywood.
Of your Miami Heat.
All right. 15 minutes easier for you on 560 WQAM. Taking you up until 2 o'clock.
Yep.
Heat, Pistons tonight.
Leroy, pool guy in a minute.
Collision course with the pool guy.
Oh, that's why you get ready with the Celsius.
Oh, yeah. I
Get
got
ready.
Celsius. I did some push-ups.
All right.
I got to move some stuff to the street.
If you guys didn't know, actually, Leroy's going to be on the prelims of UFC 287 against Pool Guy. Jon Anik's calling the fight with DC.
Oh.
Hey. No, man. I don't fight.
But a Stern talking to? You bet your ass.
I just don't. I don't see the need for fighting.
I mean, you say
Fighting
that,
does-
but you threaten.
No, if I have to, listen.
No, No, I mean,
if I have to,
yeah.
I'm from a place. But here's what you need to understand. There's certain people that fight not to lose. And there's certain people that fight to fight and don't care if they lose. I grew up where we fought and we didn't care if we lost, but we was going to make a point. And that's a different level.
Sounds like Dante.
Huh?
Sounds like Dante. He's going to get into the scrap. Even if he wins or loses, he's just going to get into it.
Right.
I like
that's how it is where we're from.
Stuff.
You know what I mean? The worst thing you could do is not fight. And people will respect you more, even if you get your wig split. They say, well, he made his point.
Better watch out. Tobin told me little Tommy's been doing well in class. Pretty soon, you better get that boy a Slurpee. He's going to put you in an arm bar.
No, he's not. Because right now, he's roaming through school right now, mad as hell because daddy didn't get him a slushie like he promised.
All right, you guys are making this so much worse than it is.
You know what he's going to say? He's going to come out and say, Daddy, when you go to work tomorrow, say hi to Chris Sims in hell.
Let's see what this person wants. Hey, 560, you're on the air. What's your name?
Hey, Tobin, it's Greg from Fort Lauderdale right now.
What's up, buddy?
I was calling because Leroy has a point, man. I grew up down here, born and raised, and I grew up in Pompano, and it was, I may not win, but you're going to feel me. That's for sure. And then, and then my father used to be like, hey, if you come home and tell me you got your butt kicked, then you're gonna get another whooping when you get home.
I have heard that.
Your father gave you a don't lose ultimatum?
Don't lose.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Hey, man. Hey, parenting was so different, right? Parenting was like, son, you got to go out there and defend yourself. Put your dukes up, right? Like, it ain't like that no more.
Still exists.
Yeah, for
Put
sure.
your dukes up.
Heard that a lot.
Hey, every fight don't end up like Craig and Friday. You know what I'm saying? Where you just go fist fight. So you don't go there no more. But I will say this, that we have done a terrible job as a society of standing up for ourselves. So we go to places of business, we get work done around our house, whatever we need, and we just settle for what they offer instead of getting what we pay for. And there is nothing wrong with that. And if it means you're being difficult for demanding that you get what you pay for, the hell with that company.
Speaking of companies, not to hell with this company, just news on a company. The Heat, they are going to have a new arena name when they come back for the Orlando game.
What is
it? Arena? Oh, Kaseya Center. Kaseya Center is what it's going to be called.
Okay, that's
Who's
better.
that?
It's apparently a software company.
Yes.
So they're replacing Fraud TX Arena. They're getting which, of course, was stripped in shame.
You had to know, right? FTX? Come on. That's like, y'all don't remember the buy.com in the early 2000s. People were jumping out of buildings. Yeah, it had the same. It's
written over it.
Listen, let me ask you a question. With cryptocurrency, can I go to the bank and get and put my hands on it?
I don't know, dude. But this is
software companies. Yeah. I can do that. They're always like software companies are never going to die because they're always progressing. They're always advancing. They're always, I can see it.
Ira Winderman writes, the Miami-Dade County Commission on Tuesday unanimously approved a 17-year agreement for the Heat's Biscayne Boulevard Arena, immediately to be renamed Kaseya Center as part of a $117 million naming rights agreement for the Miami-based software company.
So $10 million a year?
Yeah.
Wasn't people paying more than that? Or is that football? I'm sorry. Football, they play like $20 million a year, right?
Oh, yeah. Football is definitely huge the way that is.
Well, especially, I mean, look, Hard Rock, they do it up good anyway, right? And it's amazing that you can stand in that stadium and then see that and then see the and then see the guitar.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 17-year agreement, 117 million. Let's see. Ira writes, in wake of the county moving off FTX, the Heat facility briefly was designated the arena, then was renamed Miami Dade Arena. The Heat's broadcasts refer to the facility as the Heat's house, which is, I think, the way I'm going to pretty much go.
I think that's safe.
You know, I don't know. Until I can put my hands around this Kaseya, you know.
Can I just say this?
For sure.
Is something in Florida having 3 names in the last 12 months? So Miami.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. All right.
You know,
I just always wondered because I don't hear other people having these problems.
President Eric Woolworth, he said in the article, said, listen, it's not ideal. We're not running away from it. What happened with FTX blindsided us. We weren't obviously anticipating it being anticipating that. It's been a challenging year, but we're super happy. We're putting that behind us and moving ahead really fast as any deal has ever done in history. So we're proud of that. Yeah.
Now, does nobody, but my question is the Heat don't really have anything to do with the naming rights, right? It's the city. I mean, it's Dade County.
The city has to prove, like, the Heat run the building. Like, they're in.
No, I know they run it, but as far as the naming rights,
I think the Heat negotiated it. I believe.
Oh, okay.
I believe the city approves it. Like they, basically the Heat are like the caretakers of it. You know.
Okay, I got
That's
you.
Basically how it works.
I didn't quite understand it. I thought that the Dade County got the money from the naming rights.
Yeah, actually, Eric says this is the county owns the rights, but we are the party that has to execute all the elements of the deal.
Okay, got you. So, all right.
So that's how it works. So the Heat, Kaseya Center coming to you on Sunday, and so I guess
hopefully for a little bit longer.
Hopefully
it would suck to sign a $117 million deal and your season is over in a week.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's a fair point.
Yeah,
Fair
point. I mean, yeah. All right.
That's what we got going on. So Heat tonight, by the way, 7:00 tip off from Little Caesars Arena. You like Little Caesars? You a fan?
No.
Of course not, Leroy. Of course not.
What?
I'm not a huge Little Caesars guy either.
What are you talking about?
You gotta have respect for the $5.
Very convenient.
Pizza.
Hot and ready.
Hot and ready.
Hot and ready.
Dude,
by the way,
I'm not. Listen, you can also get a pizza like that from 7-Eleven.
Yeah, but you can't get a Slurpee. Sometimes.
You know what? He is the only guy I know that does something wrong, fights it the whole way, then acknowledges he did wrong, and then throws it in your face and makes fun of the wrong that he did without ever really saying he was wrong.
He just keeps puncturing my heart.
Poor Tommy's little heart.
And Tommy's
Little
heart.
Tommy's probably parched right now because he didn't get he isn't slushy.
Dehydrated.
He is Papa. A little sprinkle of slurp.
All right, if you guys missed it earlier,
why am I seeing spots?
if you guys missed it earlier, talked to little Marlon's not in the greatest star right now, but we did have a fun time talking with Gaby Sanchez about the fish. If you guys missed it, Gaby Sanchez, Marlins analyst for Bally Sports Florida, he joins us next.
Same girl.
with Bally Sports. The sweet sounds of Scott Stapp. The only thing more entertaining than that is Dave & Buster's, man. And April and Dave & Buster's month rolls on here. We got your chance to win a $250 gift card from Dave & Buster's. to watch the NBA and NHL playoffs and a whole lot more. Just go to WQAM.com, enter on the contest page, and if you win, you can go to Dave & Buster's with your gift card and have a party. All on us and Dave & Buster's. Eat, drink, play, watch sports at Dave & Buster's in Hollywood. You guys can go watch The Sandman tonight at Dave & Buster's. Play some games there as well. Gaby Sanchez, Valley Sports Florida, Marlins analyst, former Marlins All-Star, former Miami Hurricane star. He joined us earlier in the show. Here's Gaby. Valley Sports Florida Marlins analyst, former Marlins All-Star, Gaby Sanchez, joining us here on the Toyota of Hollywood guest line. Shop with 1,500 Toyotas indoors and one of America's largest showrooms at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. Good morning, Gaby. Thanks for the time, man. Really appreciate it.
Good morning. Yeah, thanks for having me. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Hey, before we get into some Marlins, as a former Cane yourself, how much did you enjoy the Final Four run?
It was probably the first time that I actually watched the college basketball. Like, I've seen a couple games, but it was the first time that I actually sat down on the TV, told the wife, like, hey, listen, we got to get home so we could watch this. So it was a lot of fun. It was a nice run by those fellas.
I'm sure that had to so that was like you hopping on the bandwagon, like your first time, like do you get rabid with the football, or is just like this was just a or are you always kind of just on the outside as far as being just a passionate fan is concerned?
I mean, with the basketball, absolutely 100% bandwagon jumping on. I mean, it's my school, so I always root for them. But
you can't get accused. You can't get accused of jumping on the bandwagon if you went to that school.
Oh, perfect.
You can't. No chance.
I follow it. I look at it, but to actually sit down and watch a game, really haven't done it. Football, I do. And football, about 5 games in, then all of a sudden you're like, are you kidding me? This again? Come on, man. So definitely been there.
Gaby, I would love this team to get off to a fast start. I did like a lot of the changes they made. I got the Goosies this weekend with the teal uniforms. I love that. The win opening day was fun. It was a great atmosphere. But here we sit, 1-4. Things feel like they're already unraveling. But it's a long-ass season, man. You've been through this. When it's this early in the season, how much are you feeling it in the locker room? Are you just saying, like, look, we got plenty of time to get things right? What is the mindset of the players at this point? Only 5 games into the season, but it really just hasn't gone their way.
It's one of those tough things because when you look at the team, what they needed to do from last year, right? Hey, we need to get on base. We need guys to get hits. So you go out, you trade Pablo Lopez, you get Luis Ariz, and that's what he has been doing. I mean, he's been doing nothing but just hitting and getting on base. And then you look at yesterday's game, they out-hit the Twins. But you were right in your earlier, they just have not gotten that big hit to get those guys across. And it can take just one guy to get that one big hit to just kind of take the monkey off of the guy's back of that pressure of trying to be the guy to get that big hit. Once I think they do it, you kind of put guys at a little bit more ease and relax, and then the guys will start scoring some runs. But they're at least getting on base. There's chances for the team to score runs, just haven't done it. I looked at something yesterday. It was like power rankings, like official power rankings. Mets are number 1 in that power ranking. The Twins were number 3. So you're playing against 2 of the top 3 teams in baseball right now, the way that they've been swinging the bat and the way that they've been playing. So right now they're just kind of running into some juggernauts early on.
Well, Gaby, isn't this like, it's kind of like bad luck because last year we complained about everybody striking out, nobody putting the ball in play, everybody, just swinging for home runs. And this year you have guys who are making contact, who are hitting the ball, putting the ball in play, but they're hitting it right to people and getting double plays. Is it just bad luck, or eventually those hits will start going through the infield?
Well, one of the things is you definitely want the guys to be putting the ball in play rather than just striking out. You'll take your chances. At some point, those balls are going to find holes. They're not going to just consistently be going at guys. So that is one thing that you definitely do like. For me, it's when guys are in scoring position, guys on third with less than 2, those are the ones that you can't strike out. So it's like picking and choosing the times of when it's okay to strike out and when it's okay to kind of, just don't put the ball in play. And then there's times where like, hey, listen, there's man on third or second and third with no outs or 1 out. let's just get one. Don't try to get the big hit. Just get one across. And I think that's kind of where they're at this point, where when you have guys in that scoring position, they're trying to get the big hit rather than just getting what the defense is giving you. Put the ball in play, get that run across.
Talking to Gaby Sanchez. You guys can watch his coverage on Bally Sports Florida. Doing a great job covering the Marlins. Gaby, one of the big moves going into this year, Jazz Chisholm volunteered to move on over to center field. Looked like a bit of an adventure so far, which I guess is understandable. What have you thought about Jazz's transition to to the outfield, and like how long before you feel like he'll be comfortable out there?
It's going to take some time, but he does have a guy in John Jay, who, in my opinion, was one of the better center fielders that I've seen in route running, being able to get that first step. Jazz athletically can play anywhere on the field. Everybody knows that. Center field is not an easy position. It's not something that you can just go into spring training and say, I'm here, I'm going to do it. I can be the best center fielder in baseball. Mentally, that's kind of what the thought process is. Oh, I can do it. But there's a lot of intricacies that come into center field play. When to go after a ball, how to judge your route angles. Those are going to take time, and that's going to be game play. So there's going to be some early hiccups that you're going to see, but hopefully with time and having a guy like John Jay on your side, looking at video, hey, on this ball, instead of doing this, maybe doing this and not making the same mistake twice. I think it will happen, but it's going to take some time.
Is it a situation where Jazz is so athletic that he sometimes thinks he can get to every ball and goes after it, and he needs to know when he can and when he can't? Because I see him not taking like bad angles, but taking angles that he think he can get to the ball, and then he short hops himself and it rolls to the fence or to the wall.
It really is that double-edged sword, right? Where he is fast enough, he is athletic enough to be able to know that he can make every play. And that's the thing. He knows that, I can get there. The problem is that he hasn't had enough reps in the outfield yet to really understand, hey, you know what? If I would have just taken a step, back rather than kind of go straight at it, I probably would have given myself a better chance to make that play. Those are the things that the only way that you can learn is by doing. So he'll make mistakes early on because of the speed. He's going to make up and catch balls because of the speed. He can drop step on balls that he needs to come in on, and it's not going to really worry because his speed will end up catching up for him and he'll be fine. It's the line drives that you can see where he's having trouble with, of judging where that ball is going to be. And, hey, am I fast enough to be able to get there? Or should I have just taken an extra step, get it on a long hop, get the ball in rather than trying to dive and make a play and the ball gets to the defense?
How much of this is understanding the situation in the game too? Hey, I can give up a single here, but I can't let this ball go to the wall. So I need to play a little more reserved because we're still in this, and giving up a hit is not going to kill us.
That's the hard part, I think, for Jazz, because he is a guy that wants to make every play. Right. He wants to make those highlight plays. He wants to make those diving plays. So whenever he can, he's going to try to make it. And you're right. It's getting in those situations where you're in center field knowing, okay, hey, listen, there's a guy on first. We're up 2-1. If this line drive gets hit in this situation, instead of me trying to dive and catch it, if that ball gets to the back, now that runner scores, the other one gets into scoring position. Let me back off a little bit, maybe get that ball into second, keep runners on first and third. Defense still has a chance for a double play to get out of it. And I think those are kind of the things that he will learn. He knows them, but physically he knows that he could probably get the ball, so he wants to. He wants to make that, fantastic play. And I think that's where kind of you have to pull the reins a little bit. And I think John Jay definitely has talked to him. And, hey, certain situations it's okay to maybe do that. And then on some, you got to just reel it back a little bit and just get the ball in.
Talking to Gaby Sanchez again. You guys can watch him on Bally Sports Florida, one of your Marlins analysts. They do a fantastic job. Marlins and Twins continue their series night. Sandy Alcantara is on the hill. you're a very good hitter, Gaby Sanchez. You watch Sandy Alcantara. What makes him special? Like, what would you have hated going against with stepping in the box against a guy like Sandy?
Well, later on in my career, I was glad that, I was more of a platoon guy with lefties only, because I wouldn't have had to face him, because that guy's nasty. There's not much you can say when a guy's on the mound throwing 97 to 100-mile-an-hour sinkers in on the hands, and then is able to throw a changeup at 92, 93 that moves about 1.5 feet, and then he's got a slider that moves the other way. He's just really impressive, and he's just getting better. And that's the thing that people don't realize. He's still young. He's still learning how to pitch. Even though he was a Cy Young winner last year, he's still realizing like how to strike guys out now, more than just letting balls get put in play. Because he's a guy that goes up there and he's going to get soft contact because of his stuff. And now he's starting to realize, okay, well, if I have these kind of sequences and I'm able to move the ball around, with certain guys, or maybe a fastball up in the zone to follow it up with the changeup down and in, and then I go with the slider down and away, back to a fastball up. Those are the intricacies that he's starting to learn now, and it's just making him even better. But what he has is just it's firepower coming out of that right arm. It really is. He's nasty.
Yeah, we talk about Jazz and having to learn how to play the position or just be more consistent at it with his angles and stuff like that. I watched a few games this week, and it seems like pitchers are trying to find out how much of the plate they can get, and it kind of happened with Sandy early in the game last week. Is that he was getting a lot of balls close to the plate, but he wasn't getting those calls and ended up behind a lot of hitters. Does that happen also with pitchers early in the season?
Yeah, it's early, and you have those jitters of, starting off. It's the first start of the year. With pitchers, just like hitters, you try to do a little bit, maybe too much. You have all these expectations going in. So you're not as crisp. You're not really, throwing the way that he knows he can throw, because he's a guy that just fills up the zone. And he goes out there and it's a whole bunch of strikes. Good luck trying to hit this sinker that's coming in on your hands. You're going to have to cheat to get to it. When I see you cheating, I'm going to go this. That's kind of like what he does. He gets ahead early. He's able to expand off the zone later in the AB. But if you start off the zone, then all of a sudden guys are just sitting up there and they're big league hitters. You know, if fastball's coming, I'm going to cheat to it. I don't care if you're throwing 97. I can get my hands in there.
They got Pablo Lopez they're going to be facing tomorrow. When you went up against a former teammate, was that weird? Is it advantage, disadvantage? Like who gets usually the play there? What was that like when you would go up against a guy who was very good? You were teammates with him for a while.
I mean, you have to think that pitchers are going to always have the advantage because hitting is so hard. You go 3 for 10 and you're a Hall of Famer. And he's getting 3 hits and 10 at bats. So you would have to give the edge to a pitcher who kind of knows the guys, knows what they're looking for, understands probably what their deficiencies are as a hitter and how to set guys up. But it's fun when you're going up against your old team, and especially if you're able to put it on them. What's really going to be fun is that you got Luzardo going up against Pablo Lopez. So the number 2 starter this year for the Marlins going up against the number 2 starter for the Marlins last year, like mano to mano. That should be a really fun game to watch and be a part of, because those two guys are going out there to prove something. Luzardo started off his season looking really good. Pablo, the same thing. So it's going to be a fun series.
You remember, like, who was the guy that came to mind when you thought about former teammate you put it on? Like, there had to be one that, like, I saw a little twinkle in the eye there. Like, was there like a little head nod when you're rounding the bases and you got a Jimmy Jack on him?
You know what? Didn't hit a home run against you know what? That's not true. Logan Kinsing was a teammate of mine in 2008 when I first got called up, and my first home run in the big leagues was against him. So that one was kind of fun. that one was fun just because he was a cool guy, like talking with him when I first got called up. So that one definitely is a little mark. But when I got traded over to the Pirates and I was playing against the Marlins, I didn't hit home runs against them. Did get some hits. But it's just, you're going up there, the guys, you've played against them, you know what they want to do against you. and you're just kind of like trying to get them out of their own game. And it's that little chess match that's, I think, makes it even more fun than anything else.
For a guy who said, hold on, let me think, you spit out those stories quite accurately.
We appreciate the time, Gabby. Catch Gabby's coverage on Valley Sports Florida. Marlins taking on the Twins. They continue their series tonight, 6:40, Sandman on the Hill. Check that on out. Thanks for the time, Gabby. Really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me.